Start off. This is my report.
You're, you're all set up. Do you want to use the clicker? Can. Right here.
Yeah, because I have to be able to see it. Yes. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Morning. Again. We're gonna hang out a few minutes, see if anybody else shows up. Yes. Hey.
I don't think I've been in a class where you taught.
Well, then you were in for a treat. I don't think anybody's showing up.
I'll probably have a few.
Yeah,
I realize it was time.
I'm glad you're having fun.
Yes, sir. How you
We're gonna
doing?
give it, good, just gonna give it a couple minutes, let him get coffee and see if anybody else shows up when we start. Now, one thing I asked, were you in any of the previous classes? I don't even know what number we're on.
Yeah, 16.
This is 16?
I think so.
So it's 15 other classes?
Yeah.
Are they doing the daily success program after each class?
No, it's more on our accountability. We don't do them in classes. I think it's kind of a time
That's like
crunch.
the most important part of what you're here for.
Right.
The bullshit I'm gonna talk to you about today is just more real estate bullshit. But the daily lead gen, the daily follow-ups, that part of this job is what makes you your money. All the rest of it's crap. I mean, honestly, I mean, it's good. I mean, I'm gonna give you some, out of the hour and a half of material I've got, there's a lot of it I have to, they make you read, like, you must read this. And I'm like, I gotta read, I mean, like, you're not 5, I don't need to read you shit. I can go to the board like, all right, somebody read that. But no, it's, I have to read your stuff, which is fine, but.
Our best classes have been when they go off script.
For the daily success class, we're gonna try to stay with the slides, because there is some good information, but there's a lot, this is a lot of filler.
It's a lot of.
I mean, I could take 3 minutes and tell you this entire segment, and then we could all go get a burger, you know, but anyway, so that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna try to, I'm gonna make sure we'll go through, and I want people to like ask questions, because I was up till 3 in the morning, got up this morning at 5, and so we're gonna, I need to stay awake.
Yeah.
This has been like, it's really scaled down from what they want you to do in this. Like he said, it's mostly, and I'm in here, I took this class 2 years ago. I probably don't need the class, but it's nice to like, just get other people.
Oh, that was, I mean, you should teach it, because, I mean, honestly, the best way to learn material is.
Sure.
So, you know, the Ignite has changed over the years. It used to be, was an 8-hour day, and we did like 5 days a week.
So it's more like old.
Oh, it was ridiculous. It was like, and it was so much information. Like, you stood up, probably chanted scripts and little cute little sayings, everything, for an hour out of that 8-hour day. It was like it was written by that Kokoska woman. It was like super like high energy, kumbaya, and so then they dial that down and they keep dialing it down. An hour and a half long, the material I'm gonna give you, it's literally summed up in 3 minutes. But we'll go through, like, they want to talk about the TCPA, cold call, stuff like that. I mean, I know how to cold call, I don't cold call anymore. I don't just call random people and be like, hi, I work my sphere, I market myself social media wise tremendously.
You and your brother.
Oh yeah, Jimmy. Well, Jimmy's been taking a hiatus. Jimmy's girlfriend, Jenny. I shot one, and it took me forever. It took me like, well, I worked on it like 2 days, prepping the scripts and getting everything signed up, and then I shot it. It took me like 3 hours to shoot it. But you know, it's 3 people. I'm 3 different people. And Jenny wears a dress, got long red hair. And
I haven't
glasses.
seen that.
Oh yeah. Well, so one segment of it, I overlap a little bit. And so when you overlap, you cross that demarcation line. And then you have to like break it down page by page or like frame by frame and cut. And I'm like, so I haven't finished it yet. But so I shoot a video where you ever seen where they take you and they film you and then you sit neck and like scooch chair over, they film you again and then they overlay the videos.
Yeah.
So you talk to each other. Well, timing. So it's not the technological part of shooting you twice and stitching it together is easy. The timing where you like talk to each other and answer each other and body language and everything, that's a bitch. So I put an earbud in, and so like I'll shoot the first script, and I have a teleprompter that gives me like my cue times, like how long it takes this guy to read the part of the script. So I know like I'm looking at it and I'm like, I do stupid laugh and stuff. And then when I shoot the other script, I listen to the first script, the first video, so like it makes it so much easier. I was like trying to work the timing twice. If you fuck up the first, you fuck up the first timing and then try to, it doesn't work. You have to literally play the video in your head so you can play off that.
Is this a part of your advertising or is this just?
Yeah, it's because people want to be entertained. Everybody puts out tons of marketing.
Yeah.
So the idea, like a lot of the ideas, if you're putting out like you're doing a walkthrough on a property and you screw up, leave it in, laugh at it, keep going. People they don't want to see perfect. They want to see the flaws. They want to see you. They want a one and done take. Just do it once and be done with it.
I learned
Good
that.
morning.
I left a voicemail a few years ago, but there was a point I was just laughing, like, I am sorry, this is like unprofessional. And I just rambled, hung up. They called me back like 20 minutes later. They're like, that was.
Yeah, because you could have got to the end, you could have deleted and re-recorded it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I found like, unless it's a technological thing, like my videos overlap each other, do one and done it, be done and move on.
Yeah.
And people like, you need good lighting, you need the sound quality to be good, but other than that, if you screw up.
Yeah, I've learned to, if I do videos, which has been a minute, but I don't even look at them.
I had a green screen that on stanchions,
Mhm.
and that was a pain in the ass. Because the stanchions stay this far away from the wall, and I'm in a 14 by 16 room that I'm videoing in. So now I'll tape it to the wall. So I tape the green screen on the wall, which was nice, gave me an extra 3 feet. But the tape, 2-sided tape kept coming off. So I was like, screw that. So I went over, I bought green screen tape.
I remember, yeah.
And so, but they had the 2-sided tape on the wall. So I went to pull that off, it stripped the drywall clear off the wall. I had to patch that thick all the way across the ceiling. So I had to patch and paint the wall. So I'm mudding and sanding and up. So I got the wall primed out again, then I painted the green screen, and I haven't shot the video since because I'm just set up in that room. But yeah, I have enough recording equipment to run my own studio. But when you don't want to do something, you just keep buying stuff. Like, oh well, if I had this better mic, then I'll do it. Well, I need better lighting. I need my camera to sync with my lighting. I need this, need that. I need teleprompter, right? And so I've got it all, and now I don't have any excuses because there ain't anything else left to buy. So, all right. So my name is Mark Rankin. I've been in real estate 20 years. I've been here at Keller Williams since none of this was here. Well, we were there. Actually, before that, we were in Montgomery. And we run a tiny little place. If you know where the Village Tavern is, across from that, there's a barber shop and a little bar. And there's a little second story. The room is like as big as like 4 tables. And there were the original group, there was about 30 of us.
So right in front of TCG, or the current TCG?
Well, if you go TCG to Montgomery and look to the right where the little fountain is,
Okay.
before the corner building, there's a little second story, and that was where we started at.
Okay.
It was a tiny, tiny little place. And then we Took them forever to build out the other place. It was all just concrete and metal framing. And now we're here in this place, which is, it's fun. But we're a real estate company. So that drives me crazy. So anyway, so I've been here, I don't know when, I don't even remember when we started, 18 we started here, something like that. Been in real estate 20 years. My prior life, I was in law enforcement. So there's an overlap because I'm really not 70 years old. I don't know, real estate is what I'd like to just kind of just tell me your name and how long you've been in business.
I'm Chase. I've been licensed since the 25th of July.
Okay, and what do you do before?
Before I worked with my dad. My dad owns an office furniture liquidation company. So I was
Office furniture
Sherry
liquidators down Dana?
no, he's down in Amberley Village,
Oh,
LW
okay.
Office Furniture.
Amberley Village.
He's in Amberley, Louisville, Lexington, and then just opened up in Indianapolis.
Why the hell would he pay Amberley Village taxes
That's a good question.
for a liquidation? Okay, how about, tell me a little bit.
Been in business for 14 years. Last year, got my Ohio license myself.
Where were you before? Mississippi. Who'd you work for before? Were you Keller down there? Okay. I started with Coldwell Banker in Hyde Park. Right. Okay. Nobody but here? That's good. We like it when people come here and stay. All right. So, this is a new Ignite. You guys have been through 15 sessions. I'm assuming you guys made all of them. It's in an hour and a half. They tell me that I don't do the success part of it afterwards. Hopefully you guys have accountability partners and you're doing that, because if you get anything out of this whole entire Ignite series, it's that 2 hours that we're not doing with you. That's the most important part of Ignite, most important part of training, is getting that daily habit down. You were 14 years down in Mississippi, good business down there. Come up here, no friends, just starting over from scratch. Yeah, that's always fun. All right, so they say I'm supposed to read this to you verbatim. I'm not treating you like 3-year-olds, but so what I will tell you is that the TCPA is no joke. That's texting in quotes. That's what they don't want you to do. And I don't have my glasses on. So as far as like, I'm not going to read, but like if you're texting the auto dialers, I know nobody here probably uses an auto dialer. Don't even get into that. That is expensive. Well, if they're expensive and, people are smart. You use an auto dialer, it calls 3 people at once. First person to answer, the other 2 get hung up on. The first person to answer gets the call, right? There's a click, there's a delay. So you go, hello, 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 and then you hear a click, and you know that somebody, they're not important to them. They're just randomly called. So when I hear that click, the first thing I do is hang up. Like, I don't want to talk to some, I don't want people cold call me. I get Spam Likely is a very good friend of mine, calls me about 37 times a day. You guys get those calls? He's got to stop. He has too many friends. But TCPA says if you don't know them and you're calling them out of the blue, cold call, we call it cold calling, and they're on the do not call list, you can be sued. Keller Williams can be sued. There was a brokerage, now it's probably bullshit. Woman got fed up. The last call that came in was from a Keller Williams agent down south. And it was, hi, I'm with so-and-so and da-da-da-da-da, and I'd like to talk to you about selling your home. But she got mad, she called an attorney, she sued. I think it was like several $1 million that Keller Williams had to pay for a violation of the TCPA. So they say we gotta read it. You're adults. You have this in your binders. Read it, know it, love it. Do not call somebody. Problem is with cold call, you have to go on the do not call list and register. And it is by zip code, and it's a pain in the ass. It's not free. So if you're a cold call, door knocking is a different thing. Emails aren't covered yet. That's going to be a whole different thing. Commercials a whole different animal. So if you're dabbling or getting into that, That's a whole different animal. They have a whole different set of rules. Yes. Your database, do you know these people? Do you have a relationship with them? Or they just pull them out of white pages? That's a big book. You know, old people, we can joke about that. We didn't have, you know, we could just look a number up. We had to turn the pages.
I thought they were the yellow pages, right?
We have yellow pages. Yeah, they have a business section, a small one, but they have white pages where everybody had a home phone, and your home phone was registered in this book, and that's how you found it. Before that, you had to ask the operator. You get old Susie over in, you know. So anyway, so yes, so if you're, that's not cold calling. But they don't know you. Okay, so if somebody says stop, right? But if you haven't spoken to them in 40 years, but you know them, so use a Ford call, right? Family, occupation, recreation, and dreams. Every call I make starts out with that. And tattoo it on your arm. Ford is family, occupation, recreation, and dreams. Stalk them on social media, right? Most people have social media. Some people don't. My mom won't stay off social media, so I have to log in as her and delete my stuff. Because, you know, she's 86 and she's lost her mind. But anyway, so Ford calls. Call them up. You worked with them 37 years ago at a plant. You're like, you got them on your phone. You call them, they answer, hey, you know, Lisa, is this you? Oh my God, remember me? I'm so-and-so. Remember we worked together? I was just thinking about the other day, think about this time, and tell a story that you guys had a good time together. Tell something, I was remembering this, and I saw some made me think of you, and I thought, well, I'll give you a call and just try to catch up. So do a Ford, which means a care call. We call them care calls, Ford calls. You want to reach out and rekindle that relationship. What are you doing today? Then someone will call and say, hey, I haven't talked to you in 30 years. I'm so sorry. I was in law enforcement, so I wrote search warrants, blew doors off hinges for drug dealers and everything. So every law enforcement agency in like 10 counties was on speed. I was on speed dial with them. So I get calls people when I get my phone. I've got thousands of cops on my phone. So I can call them up, and I never delete your text messages, by the way. If you text somebody, never delete it. It just runs. Like I can go back 35 years on some of these people. You have to pay for a lot of storage, but you know, 20 terabytes is not that horrible amount of storage. But when you call them, just don't call them and say, hey, I'm in real estate, want to buy a house. You call up, you say, I haven't talked to you forever. I just thought about you, and strike up a conversation. And then next time, maybe you track them down on social media, and you like a few posts, comment on some posts, so you start seeing them. And then you call them up again, you know, maybe make a plan to go to lunch, have a coffee, follow up a call, say, oh my God, you remember so-and-so, and find a reason outside of real estate, buy, sell, invest. Don't bring that up. Rekindle the relationship. And then what are you doing? Oh, I'm retired. I did this, da, da, da. I was like, and what are they going to say back to you? Well, what are you doing now? Well, I'm in real estate. I help people buy, sell, and invest. I said, you know, do you have equity in your home? You want to upgrade, downsize? I would love for you to reach out to me. But let's get back to how are the kids? How's the husband? Oh, he died. Good for you. You know, whatever. Have those conversations with people, but always it's like a shaker of salt, right? Doctor doesn't want you to put salt, just a little sprinkle of it. It's right at the end. Don't start out with it, but then somewhere in the conversation, set them up to ask that question. Get into the what are you doing? Where are you working at? When you left when the factory closed, or when I left, did you stay there? Did you retire there? Whatever it may be, ask them questions, get them to tell you, oh, I'm doing this now. Oh my God, ask more questions about it. Dig into it. People love to talk about themselves. Once you get them to where they're talking about themselves and you feel like the conversation's going good, and she's like, well, I really got to go. You know, I haven't seen you in 37 years. Don't ever call me again. Then think about your book, right? But I never take anybody out of my phone. Like everybody I have about 7,000 people on my phone. Every one of those reported into command. The hard part is putting them in their phone, remember to put them in command, or I put them in command, remember to put them on the phone. But And then don't even get me started on downloading your social media accounts because I am close personal friends with people I don't even know. Oh yeah, so like somebody sends you a friend request on Facebook, Instagram, whatever, you just accept it. I don't think they care for us on this, but you just accept it. No, I stalk them, find out, make sure they're good people, right? Try to figure out if they're a bot. But like you interact with these people, and the more you interact with them, the more you see them on your feed, the more you interact with them, the more they interact with you. And so you're building these relationships on social media. And that's where those are free marketing. And marketing yourself and your listing, marketing your listings are great, you know, but again, you put it in the MLS, it trickles out to 400 different sites nationwide. People in Anchorage, Alaska can see a house for sale you put up yesterday in, you know, in Evanston or Amberley Village. So marketing your house, yeah, we market it, but it's more about marketing the house so you can market yourself, right? Because you want to be the Tide of real estate. You know, you ever heard of saying you remember 3 laundry detergents, right? You can remember like what you use, maybe one you've used before, and maybe one that the commercial kind of caught your eye, right? But after that, you're screwed. You don't remember anything else. And there's hundreds of laundry detergents, but you only remember about 3. So you want to be 1, maybe 2, because when when they're at the water cooler talking to somebody at work and they go, hey, we're thinking about downsizing our house. You know, it's too big for us. Kids are all gone. They got their own places. I don't need a 5-bedroom, you know, 4,000 square foot mansion. I want to get something small, somebody can maintain. So they want to think about you. You want them when they hear somebody say that, your friend, you got to call Mark. My God, Mark's best thing since sliced bread. He'll take really good care of it. He helped everybody in my family because if you help one, you get them all. It's like dominoes. If you sell the parents a house when their kids grow up, you stay with those people, keep that relationship, the kids will call you. I have sold 4 generations of homes. I've sold their grandparents out of their homes. I sold all their investment property, sold family, sold the kids, sold cousins. It's just, and that's how you build your business. So that's it. Class is over. Goodbye. So this is about working with buyers and sellers. How do you work with buyers and sellers from the contract, right? So with a buyer, you have to sign a buyer agreement. That is the dumbest thing to face yours. To meet somebody, and the very first time you meet them, you have to make them sign a contract. So you have to have a script for that. There are scripts. There are scripts to explain to people that the law says we have to enter into an agreement. At any time, you want to fire me. If I can't prove to you that I am going to be your #1 advocate, the #1 person that helps you navigate the complexities of buying and selling, investing in real estate, then you just let me know and you can fire me. We'll tear this up. But the law says we have to sign it now, and you don't know me and I don't know you, and I don't even know if I want to work for you. You might be a complete asshole. And I'm like, no, because at every house we go look at, you want to write $100,000 less than listings. And day 1 on the market. I'm not doing it. So once we know that I want to work with you and you want to work with me, then this contract is good. But until then, we just have to do it. So you have those conversations. Once you got the buyer in the contract, or you get a listing agreement. Listing agreement takes a little bit more time. That first time you meet but I don't understand. The first time you meet a seller, you can go back 4, 5, 6 times and never get the listing until like months in, sometimes years. I've met with people, and then almost 2 years later, they call me and be like, okay, we're ready. I'm like, okay. You know, and I was shitty with following up on them, but you meet with them, they're like, they finally get around it. I got right now, listing a house in Overland Park Avenue. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, fully renovated brick home with a nice driveway, 2-car garage. Probably gonna come in about $350. They might look it. But we're not listing that until May. And I met them in 23. And I went and did a listing presentation. And they loved me. And they had notes. They had 3 agents, plus they had that they had the Zillow program. I think that the Zillow offshoot program is, but they had 2 of these commercial grade, like Redfin. They had Redfin and they had whatever Zillow is. There's 5 of us buying for this thing. And they took notes on all this. And I'm like, so I just said, can I see your notes? I was like, I don't know. I know this guy. I'm not gonna say anything bad about him. Because what I just do, I just said something bad about it, right? I never say anything bad about it. Oh, you don't want to go Zillow. I don't cuss. I tell people I don't cuss. I don't use the Z word. But so when you get a listing contract, or when you get a buyer's contract, that's what this class is about. It's about the relationship you build after that. You got to convince the lister to take their prized possession, their number one, more than likely, 95% of America, the number one asset that people feel the single asset is their home. So you have to convince them to let you take care of every nickel that a lot of people have and help them navigate this incredibly difficult real estate world. So this is about building relationships, and you can't fake that. You have to literally care about people. We're going to talk a little bit about that. But the TCPA, if they're on the do not call list, what I think you're going to call somebody, not people that you've known, if you've known them, and like I said, if they told you don't ever call me again, don't call. But if somebody's in your past from 30, 40, 50 years ago, 5 years ago, whatever, and you reach out to them, don't go straight to real estate. Don't shoot them a text. You have to talk to them. 10 years. Call them, do the forward, do the care calls, rekindle the relationship a little bit. I always start off by, like, I will spend an hour a night just scouring all my social media accounts. Sometimes I'll go on, what's that one? TikTok? Yeah, I go on that, and I'm like everyone, just scrolling it like it's scrolling. Like, I don't even look at that shit. I just scroll it because all it's doing is just telling people if somebody's really into that stuff, they look at that, they see their likes, they'll see that my profile is one of their rated fans. Now, I mean, half these people are, but you have to engage in TikTok. And there's a whole formula. That's already in social media. There's a whole formula for engaging that stuff, and we'll get to that. But the TCP, just if you're going to cold call, I don't recommend cold call. If somebody comes to your open house and they fill out your little book, that's not a cold call. That's calling them back because they gave you a phone number. If they sign in your name, they didn't give you a phone number, you can call them because they signed in. On my sign-in sheet, it says that the agent may call you for feedback once you've had time to think about whether you like the property. So if you door knock, that's not cold call, especially if they give you their phone number. Don't door knock an address and then run a report on it and start calling people based on it because we talked to you at your door today, so I give you a call. That's pushing the TCPA, right? But if you have a relationship with a prior, it doesn't qualify for that. Even if they're on the do not call list, if you have a prior relationship in any way, shape, or form, just start with that and then work into allowing them to, or you allow them allowing you to go from there. So what we're going to talk about today is you've been through all of these. You win the buyer, win the seller. Now let's work with them. So you guys have done you've done your buyer presentation, seller presentations, your listing presentation, all that. You guys have those? They give you a generic one to work on? Yeah.
Yeah, well, we've been shown a couple templates, especially the past two classes. Buyer's qualification list, seller's qualification list, we've gone over that. And then for me personally, like I just put together my whole buyer's presentation last week, and then today I'm getting started on my seller's presentation.
If you're going to do like buyer and seller presentations, they're great, but keep those short and sweet because once you got your foot in the door with the buyers and sellers, you're already in, right? I get 99% of my listings that I go on because if you go in with the mindset that it's already your listing and you use your listing skills and have them tell you about the property, have them give you a tour of the property. I look for stuff like dogs, cats, family, grandkids, you name it. When you're walking through somebody's house, besides looking for like giant cracks in the walls and everything else that might be a problem with the listing or something you want them to fix or repair or declutter or whatnot, look for shit to talk about. You know, I'm stalking people. I'm going through, oh, this guy, every other picture's got him with a beer in his hand. So we're gonna go down that route. Or if it's a picture of them in Cozumel, I will find a way to bring up. I saw you guys went to Mexico. You guys go to Mexico? Oh my God, I'm literally leaving Friday to take my family on a cruise down to Mexico, Belize, and all that bullshit. I was like, tell me, where do you guys go? Tell me a little bit about it. So you got to try to make that relationship connection, right? So we're going to talk about where we at. So and again, this is the program from once they've signed the listing or they've signed the buyer agreement to contract under contract. Because I think the next one is writing contracts. All right, so you guys are doing your daily success programs. Everybody doing that? Anybody doing that? The 2 hours of role play, reading your scripts. If you don't have a partner, stand in front of a mirror and record it so you can play it back. Because the best thing is listen to your cadence. If you get to the point where like, yeah, that sounds pretty good, that flowed pretty good. If it flows pretty good for you, then trust me, everybody else in the world's gonna pick your goal because we are our biggest critics. But if you don't have somebody to role play with, use an audio script partner. Just record your stuff and then play it back. Now they make AI role play partners. You see that? Oh, yeah. There's a program where you literally log in and it's on your computer, and then you will just start scripts. Say we're gonna do buyer scripts, and AI's like, okay, and you got a cute little AI up there. You put it anybody you want, and you get like, I went on there and my daughter's put Harry Styles was my AI script partner. It didn't really look a lot like, it looked a lot like me, but it wasn't actually with Harry, but it looked like Harry Styles. Because they said Harry Styles AI. So I was role playing with Harry Styles the other day. It's pretty cool. Trying to get more and more into AI because this business, getting into this business, AI is by far people who are versed in AI will dominate the business. Everybody else is going to become inconsequential. I really mean that. You're gonna have your sphere. You're gonna be able to work people, but people who work with AI are going to be able to steal more market share. More market share. Like if your buddy sells houses, and this guy's in your face all day long, you're going to go with that group. So, well, because AI is going to do the calls for you. Like I do the profit share recruiting, nationwide recruiting program. I love profit share because anytime I can make money and not lift a finger, I like that. So recruitment, and they talk to you guys about that, right? How profit share works. So if you love what you do and you love where you work, it's a no-brainer to try to get more people to come into this business. A lot of stuff like Coldwell Banker, like I worked with Coldwell Banker 11 years. Coldwell Banker is great people, love every one of them. Their mentality though is, don't look at my homework. You do a good job, but I ain't gonna help you, right? In Keller Williams, we believe that there's enough work for all of us. There really is. I'm probably not going to say, hey, I'm going to this house. Her name's Sue. This is her phone number. I'm going to give the listing presentation for 2 days from now. Go ahead, knock yourself out. I probably won't do that. But if we're on the same, if you're like, oh, I'm going to Sue's tomorrow, what I will probably do is try to go to Sue's today, try to beat you to the punch. But I will wish you well. And that's what Keller is about. Keller is about that we really do believe there's enough business for everybody because 5% of people do 95% of the work. There are a lot of agents get in this. That's why we're at a over 80% failure rate. People get in this business and they just leave because it is not easy. But if you're prone to hard work and you work at it, a lot of money can be made, and it's a very, very good career. I love this career. You can do this career like they just had a friend of mine. Mom was an agent in Florida down in the Keys. And I was just down there and I was talking to her and she said, my mom just retired. I'm like, you're 65 years old. How old's your mom? She was 96. She retired last year, which retired a year ago, almost a year ago. I'm like, she was 95 years old, still selling real estate. She was doing a lot of real estate. In Florida, in the Keys, if you sell a dozen houses, you're like gold because they start at $1 million from there. So the shitholes in Key West are $1 million. So this woman was doing really good book, and she just decided it was time to retire. 95 years old, she retired. I'm like, if you can get up in the morning, you can sell real estate, right? So, and AI will help you do it with less effort. It's just, everybody uses chat. You read marketing remarks now? Oh my God. Marketing remarks on listings. You can tell if some guy, like, especially look at men, women are more flamboyant, more colorful with their language. Guys like see girl, date girl, drink beer. Girls will use adjectives in their description. Guy do a 4-bedroom, 3-bed, three-bath house, 2,000 square feet, come buy it. And that's their marketing. Well, so we put it in ChatGPT and I go, marble floors, sunroom, big backyard, close to the pool. And then I hit send and chat and I say, make it pretty, right? Because there's 4 steps to chat. If you want to write, you tell it who you are, what you want, what type of program and how long you want it. And you send it out and it makes this beautiful narrative for I just put a piece of land up. Oh my God, the load of, I read it, I'm going, oh my God, I just got a cavity reading this shit, so much crap. But, so that is not using AI. That's just bullshit. That ship sailed a year and a half ago when it first came out. Using AI is literally having a computer run part of your business for you. So look at that, and if you can afford that, should be your first hire. First hire should be AI. Used to be an admin, had like 10 to 13 deals a year. You should hire your first admin. You know what? When you're 4 deals in, 5 deals in, when you do 6 deals a year, hire an AI. Or if you can afford it now, you can pay, even if it's like $50 a month, it'd be worth its weight in gold. Because the more you get into it now, we know that AI is they're never going to do away with real estate agents because you have to have that. People just won't ever trust a computer, to be honest with them, give them a real statement. But anyway, so this is what we got. So consider AI. But so success with clients, that's where we're starting. We're done. You're supposed to do your daily success system. Please don't skip that because what you do every day, it's like a roller coaster. If you want, like you sell 4 or 5 houses and then you got nothing for a month and a half. Then you sell a couple houses and nothing for a month and a half. So if you don't want to ride a roller coaster, you want to constantly be consistent, 2 or 3 deals a month, or you want to continually to grow, you have to do the daily success systems, which is your lead gen. You have to do it every day for at least a couple hours a day. And if you skip a day, you make it up. Some people say only 5 days a week. I work 7 days a week. I'll never take off. But it's up to you what you want to do. But if you're going to do 5 days a week or 3 days a week, do it. And if you erase it, you must replace it. If you take it out of your data, because you got a doc's appointment or you're going, like I'm going on a cruise. I got internet put in my room, the business internet put in my cruise room. So at nighttime I can do my stuff because I have people here going to run my business, but while I'm there, I want to keep up with my contacts, keep up with checking my emails and doing my outreach, checking in with clients, making sure that they're getting the service they want while I'm gone. But so we're talking about working with clients. All right, so it says I have to read this. Virtually every top producing agent we've ever worked with has a deep and almost inherent sense of service. Servant's heart places buyer sellers, real estate experience above all else. They're always thinking service. You have to put your buyers and sellers in importance. What their hopes, dreams, wants in front of your own. It's very difficult if you use this career to keep the lights on or pay a mortgage. So be cognizant of that because your fiduciary responsibility is to your client and not your checkbook. So if the clients are on the fence about whether or not they should buy a house, you need to give them honest feedback and help them make the purchase in what's best for them or make the sale what's best for them. Don't think, oh, well, if they don't buy this house, then I'm back. We're in inspections, we're 2.5 weeks from closing and the foundation's kicking in and, I'm going to ignore that and just tell them, go ahead and buy it. Everything looks good to me. And then, 3 or 4 years down the road, they have to spend $20,000 to put up steel I-beams to hold the wall back. So you have to, if you have to always consider your fiduciary responsibility. And that's why there's, you know, that's why this business is hard, because when it comes to a paycheck, it's really difficult to not consider your own needs or the needs of your family over sometimes perfect stranger. All right, so talk too much. Try to get some of this, talk about that. All right. All right, so again, this slide probably sums up the whole class. In order to go from once you get them under contract to actually the next steps of, but it's, I mean, you have to build enough rapport with them to trust you enough to sign those documents, right? To list their house, to sign a buyer agreement, to go on showings with you, give you the opportunity to go walk down this road with them. That's both scary and exciting. But if communication isn't the number one thing you're concerned about, then best case scenario you can hope for is a one and done. And this business is too difficult to have every one of your clients every year be somebody that doesn't know you. You have to win every new client, right? You want referrals. You want repeat buyers. I've got a few clients, but I got one client that I love to death. In the last 8 years, they have bought 7 houses and moved 7 times. So that's 7 new purchases and 7 sales. So I love these people. I call them up every few months. I'm like, hey, is it time? They're like, F you, we're not, this is it, lose my number. And they're laughing. I'm like, lose my number, whatever, we're never moving again. I call them up, they're like, yeah, like, I've moved them from Ohio to Florida 4 times. They don't know where the hell it is. And they're not buying renovation. Like, I'm thinking, okay, let's do some house hacking, right? Y'all know about house hacking? That's when young people, dude, I'm telling you, if I had hair, oh my God. House hack, your first house should be a 2-year project where you go in there, you learn how to swing a hammer, slap a paintbrush around. Yeah. Once you finish that, sell that son of a bitch, take that equity, buy another, and move, and move, and move, and move. And then when you get, are you married? Okay, no. I think everybody should marry once, and once the divorce is over, then you're in good shape. And for all you lifelong people that married, my parents were married 65 years this year. I don't know how. I tried real hard. They don't try at all, but they're married. So house hacking, I'm telling you, Chad talks to you, let's sit down because, dude, there's something, you'll be retired by the time you're my age, living on a yacht somewhere. Just start it now before all the bullshit muddles your life. Okay, start it now. So strong, you want to provide a strong foundation for a sustaining relationship. Sustaining relationship thing. Once you sell a house, you have to keep that relationship. I know I'm not supposed to talk about past writing a contract, but dude, once you get them to be their buyer's agent, this is buyer's agent. That's a seller from them. That's 3 or 4 or 5 referrals down the road. That's a seller and another buyer, and then probably another seller and another buyer, because they're gonna, depending on how young you start them, they're gonna buy 10 houses in their lifetime. Old people like my parents, you bought a house, you lived in it. That's it. Bought a house, 35 years later, 30 years later, you paid it off. And if you were lucky, you downsized once, and then you got some money. Now it's every 2, 3, 4 years, people are like, yeah, paint's getting old. Let's not paint. Let's sell this bitch, go buy another one. So I love that. I tell people, if you don't like your house, let's sell it, buy you something else. Right? Let's take that equity, roll it into the next one. If you do that 4 times, your mortgage is free. And then you keep a mortgage. I mean, like, you keep rolling into the next one, but eventually you're going to get to a point where you can cash that out. You have cash. Now you're a cash buyer. So then now you're like, you're like wearing brand new jeans, walking on gold, because cash is king in the real estate industry. So you want to flip enough houses to where when you go in, you can get it for a better price, and you always win because you walk in and you go, cash. And if you flip enough houses, you also know enough about the renovation game that you can price some of this shit out. You go in like, okay, this. All right, it's going to cost me 30 grand to upgrade this. What's the comps? You run your own comps. And you're like, okay, this is good, let's buy it. Right? You look at the rents, figure out investment. If you want to buy and hold,
but flip a few. So you set manage expectation proactively throughout the transaction. That's the communication, right? You can't don't call them every day. Don't call them 3 times a day, but talk to them like twice a week. Check with them at the beginning of the week, see anything over the weekend, blah, 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 blah. No, well, make sure you check. And then what I do is halfway through the week, if they're a buyer, let's say buyers, halfway through the week, I will go on their portal, find a house that looks pretty decent. I'm like, call them, hey, did you see this one? And you know they did because you get the access to their portal and it shows they look better. They're like, oh yeah, but that's got this. Oh, that's right. Yeah, you don't like that. Let me make sure I make a note that you wanted a bigger yard. You wanted a yard that butted up to the woods or God knows whatever. So, or they'll call you. And so it's twice a week when you work with buyers. Sellers, the same thing. Every time somebody shows a house, trust me, it's 3 minutes. They just stepped off the porch. Your seller's calling like what they think, right? They want to know right now, are they going to write a contract? So we'll get to that. The last part of this day is working with agents, but your sellers are worse than buyers. Buyers twice a week's fine. Sellers, it's twice a week touches, and every friggin' showing, you better call them ahead of time before when the showing gets scheduled. You're calling and touching base. Hey, I talked to the agent. Let them know what you told me about this. And I told them to get back to me as soon as they're done. Let me know feedback. They said it might take them a few minutes because they're seeing a bunch of properties. Sellers love that shit. And then make sure you get back to them. Even if it's, hey, I called the agent 15 times after today and they didn't answer, I will follow up with them again tomorrow and I'll get you some feedback on the show. Even if you don't have nothing to say, call them and say. So communication, you create that peace of mind for clients. Like I said, if you call them, you can get the sense on the phone that they don't want to hear from you. And then make it quick. Get the information across to them and say, okay, let's get back to it. Hang up. Find out when they want to call, what time, who you're calling, husband and wife. Don't call, if you're a guy, don't call the wife unless the husband tells you deal with the wife. Because I'm working today. She's more flexible. She can answer the phone. I can't. If you got something during the day, call her. But when I text, I always check, say, can I text you both? I said, you have to respond, but I want, so you can like, when you get a minute, you can go through and be like, oh, okay, now I'm up to date. And you don't have to wait for her or I to call you. So they're like, oh yeah, you can do that. Or no, don't text me either. Leave me the hell alone. Deal with her. I'll get the information. So make sure that interview process from just because you got them to sign that buyer agreement or you got them to sign the list agreement, besides knowing everything they want to buy or everything they want to sell, you got to know everything about them, what their habits are, what their disc personality is, right? So you want to know how to communicate with them. There are people that are emotionally supported. There are people that are intellectually. Some people, like I said, some people just want to know, is this house structurally sound, mechanically sound, and is it worth what they're asking? They want this to meat potatoes, they give them meat potatoes, but you got to know how to read people and how to review it. And then it gives you your credibility. The credibility part is where they will refer you to their friends and family. Mark was always on top of it. Mark stayed. Mark, if you send out feedback requests, you send it out multiple times throughout the deal, right? When you're showing them houses, you want to send them one out. Once the property is listed, you send them one out because they're happiest when their hopes and dreams haven't been crushed yet. When they haven't looked at 600 houses and they realize everything's on the price point, or their house hasn't sat on the market for a month and a half. Even if the market is a 30-day market or 45-day market, so you want to hit them when it's hot, right when everything's good, when they're out showing first few houses on a beautiful day. Say, hey, I want to send you a quick Google review. I'd love for you to kind of give me an idea on how I'm doing for you. If I'm doing really good, give me all 5 stars. Write a nice little thing about me because I work good. Reviews are the lifeblood of my business. So could you give me a 5-star review? And they're like, I'm like, okay, well then don't fill it out. Let me wine you and dine you a little bit more, and then we'll get that 5 stars. But you always ask for the 5-star. Don't say, give me a review, and then secretly hope that they give you a 5-star. Say, I want a 5-star review. I want you to write a glowing report on me on how I've done so far for you. Have I done a good job? Oh yeah. Any questions, any concerns, any problems so far? Nope, not at all. So you'll give me a 5-star review. I'll send it to you Saturday. And you zip them out an email. Say, it takes 3 minutes. Just click it, click the 5 stars, type a little thing, Mark's great, we love him, he's attentive, he's this, he's that, he's that. And then they send it. And then when you sell their shit, right before they close, because when they close, they look at all those numbers, and those numbers could be a lot. So once they're under contract, from the time they're under contract, or even through inspections, once they're through inspections and they're happy with that, but usually like once they've won the deal or their house has gone under contract, to send them another one. And then if there's no problems, I'll send them a third. So you can get all these reviews. And I never did reviews forever. Did you do a lot of reviews down south? No? So if you had, those would have followed you, right? You'd have been, you could have sold 1,000 houses a year down there. And if you don't have all those reviews, it doesn't really help you up here because people up here can't see, they don't see your name dotted on all these properties. So yeah, so reviews. I've learned that in the last couple of years. I got an admin that we're going after everybody that I've ever sold a house to that didn't give me a review. I call them, catching up with them. I lost a lot of people because, you're young, you're selling houses. You're like, got the money, go on to the next one, and you forget to keep in touch with these people. You think they don't want to hear from me. I just helped them buy their house. No, they want to hear from you. They want you to check in after the closing. They want you to reach out to them and talk to them about, hey, mortgage rates are this. Keep detailed files. Stalk the shit out of your people. If they got a 6.5% interest rate, which is probably where we're at right about now, when the rates drop, say, hey, the rates are dropping. Don't panic. They're only at 6. I know a lot of people are refinancing. I want you to hold off a little bit longer. We're gonna go to 5.5. When we get to 5.5, we'll refinance. That way you'll save more money and you can lock it in for long. So, and just have those conversations. Somebody says, hey, did you see the house down the street sold from you? I literally just find reasons to call people, call about contractors. Got this great new painter that she's phenomenal. She's cheap. And I got a whole house contractor at Jersey Shore Island, so but call your people up and say, hey, that's new painter, trying to help her build her business. She's phenomenal. She did this for a couple clients of mine. Do you know anybody looking for a painter? What are you doing? You're just providing value. You're not saying, are you ready to sell your house? Do your kids want to buy? Do you know a neighbor? You're not stalking them, but what do you tell them? I'm in real estate. It's that Tide commercial. You're the snuggle bear. Everybody knows that little damn bear that does the downing, right? You want to be the person they think of in real estate, and they'll think of you as a real estate agent. And when you call them and offer up a painter, or you got a guy who does flat work. I got a Mexican. He's Mexican. I don't know if that's bad or not. But he's Mexican, and he does amazing concrete work. I swear to God, I don't know how he can buy the concrete and pay his people, but he poured a pad for me for like $2,200. It was a 20 by 20, 6-inch thick pad with rebar because I didn't know where I wanted to put the hot tub. So I had him pour the whole pad, ginormous. And it's beautiful. And he charged me $2,200. And that's tearing out a deck, framing it up, putting in gravel, doing all this work. I'm like, when he told me, he's like $2,200. And he's done 2 driveways for friends of mine, and some sidewalks for people. He's repoured a guy's porch. Everybody's ecstatic about it. He's super cheap. So I rave him to every client. If I want to call somebody, I'm like, hey, did you get your driveway fixed? And they're like, no. I'm like, got a guy. You got to call him. Get a quote. Just call him, get a quote. So enhance your credibility. You have to constantly be like in your people's lives. I call them, like I used to do just the Facebook, happy birthday. I used to go in. It tells you on Facebook who's having a birthday. You got to go in and type happy birthday to everybody. So I'm like, I take happy birthday, exclamation point, funnel cone, birthday cake, and I copy it. I'm just copy paste. Now you just got to go click. It's bullshit. But everybody does that. When they look at their birthday, people are like, oh, I want to see how many people love me. So you go on their Facebook and go, oh, I got 700 happy birthdays. And they're all the same friggin' thing. Maybe one guy's got a cake, the other guy's got a balloon, but they know it's just click, right? So sing happy birthday into your cell phone. If you want to send it, call them by name, great, but sing it a generic one. Send them a text. It takes 2 seconds. That's a touch. That's 1 out of the 52 or whatever I don't know, 52, 1,025, however many touches they're telling you to do these days. But that's something different. It's like, so keep pushing and pushing and pushing to stay in your people's lives. Trust me, when you help them with the greatest decision most people are gonna make, the most stressful decision besides marriage, childbirth, death, divorce. I mean, buying a house, selling a house is extremely stressful, people. When you help them with that, you make it smooth, you make it nice, they are going to thank you tenfold. And they want you to stay in their life. They feel like they have a relationship with you now. You're not just not just helping them with a financial decision, like they went through the Kroger line at Boston Groceries and you scam them out. You're in their life, so stay in it. 3 levels of service we talked about, or I think this is from the Millionaire Real Estate Agent. So we talked about the 4 underlying communications, right? That's in your participant guide. Really important that you can realize that you have to build relationships with people to get them. It's not about the one sale. I always tell clients, look, when I help you with this process, we're in it. We're friends now. So get over it. You might not like me, but we're done. We're gonna be best friends. You guys are gonna call me when you need a contractor. You're gonna call me when your friends need help because I'm gonna take such good care of you. Gonna love you. So we're now friends. So put me in your phone under friend because that's where we're at. The 3 levels of service is purpose, value proposition, fiduciary. Obviously, you got to know your purpose. What is your purpose? Your purpose is not to buy and sell houses, make a lot of money. That might be, like they ask you what's your why. Why are you in this? Why do you work? Why do I get up at 5 o'clock every morning and sometimes stay up till 2 or 3 in the morning? What is my why? Well, we've all got our whys. Why? It's not to make a lot of money. There's a reason for all that. Whether you want to retire early or you want to eventually own a house on the beach somewhere, and they're expensive as shit. So you got to make a lot of money to get there. So you got to know your purpose is to help people with the single largest financial decision probably in most people's lives, to navigate it with ease, to show that to give them a good experience, a smooth transition, get them good value. You can't make people pay more than the house is worth, but it's a value. The value proposition on a property is what did these people do to grow the value, whether it be an aesthetic value or an equity, like financial equity value. But your value proposition, your purpose has to be to help, right? To help people in whatever aspect that you guys feel that your purpose is. But the value proposition is, what do you offer to a client? If you've never sold a home, what do you offer? Good communication skills? Do you offer, how long have you been in business? Well, I've been in business for a month. But you have access. You said Chad. Chad's been in business, 6, 7 years, something like that. I've been in 20, so now you got 27 years of experience behind you. And so the more you know, so you've got Tara, you've got Bo, you've got Peter Spree. If you need to ask a question, Peter, you can call. You can always ask a question. Might want to email him because that's in Colorado or whatever. Utah, he's in Utah. But your value proposition is what you bring to the table: honesty, integrity, and your fiduciary responsibility to your client. Which fiduciary? So fiduciary, not to be construed with functionality. Functionality is the girl at the grocery line scanning your groceries. Her job is to take the shit you want in the cart, take your money, and send you out the door with food to feed your family. That's it. She's a functionary. Fiduciary is more. Fiduciary is when you truly are trying, like if your clerk checking you out at the grocery store was a fiduciary, she'd be making sure that you got every discount. She'd be like, go back and get this. This is cheaper. This is better. And no, so she's just scanning your shit. She might strike up a small talk, family, but fiduciary is because you are there for the betterment of the people you're working for. You're their hopes, dreams, goals, financial responsibility, their livelihoods, the home they're buying, home they're selling, whatever. All of that is first, and you come a far cry second. Everything is about them. So making sure that you know your purpose and you can express your value proposition, which that's part of your buyer and seller presentation, right? Why they should work with you. That's very important. And that should be, you should really beat those scripts to death. Been at it an hour, and it's going.
Do you have a value proposition? Do you
Yeah.
use your own or do you use brokerage's value proposition?
Okay, so like that Y4C2C, E2Cs, that's great, it's good. You can, that's more of a real estate kind of value proposition, like agent to agent.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have a value proposition. Your value proposition is what you provide. So I have like 165 different things that I do for a client, but then I sprinkle in all the heartfelt, feel good stuff.
Yeah.
So your value proposition could be, I will always be available. You can call me, like when I first started, dude, I had clients that worked third shift, they called me 2 o'clock in the morning. Well, in my previous life, that was a normal thing. Somebody takes a hostage and barricades them somewhere, they call me up like, hey, we need your help. So I was used to that, so I just translated it in my real estate world. So if you don't want to answer phones at 2 o'clock in the morning, then you set your business hours, but your value proposition is everything you will do for a client, both emotionally, physically, to help them with their transaction. So
Maybe something that separates you from the next agent.
well, your value prop, look, most people go with the first agent in, right? So if you go in there with the mindset you're gonna close, like, I don't go in there and say, well, hey, give me a call if I win, you're listening, I'm like, hey, when I'm done, I got the paperwork right there, I'm like, let's sign this, get this shit going, right? I got it right here. I don't say, oh, you're gonna go with me? Let me go home and type it up on my computer and send you an email. No, I'm scoot over.
Yeah.
Here's the first document. That's what this says. So, and you're supposed to go through the documents. So, I mean, do it in front of them. Don't send them that shit from home and have fun. What's this mean? What's that mean? The difficult stuff like your money, make sure you have all the objection handlers for that, the scripts. Well, they don't call them scripts now. What do they call them now? They call them scripts still? Yeah, there's in the bigger world, there's something else. But they're not, because scripts sounds like we're learning stuff that isn't from our heart. But yeah, I mean, it's essentially scripted. Like they say, well, I want to interview another agent. You need an answer for that. So there's a script for that. But they call it something software. I don't know what it's called. It's like, I was going to go down a rabbit hole, but read the scripts. Read the scripts. And they did tell you, memorize them verbatim, right? Don't deviate from them. If it doesn't sound like you learn them the way they're written. When you say them, it will come out of your mouth from your brain and you will make it your own. You won't, if you're in a conversation where you're not going to like regurgitate the script verbatim. Memorization and like I was in the DMLA, it's like Masonic order for kids, and we had to memorize shit and regurgitate it in ceremony. That's not what we're doing. You're memorizing the script so that you internalize it, so that when they ask a question, you know the answer, and the answer comes out of your mouth the way you would say it. Don't try to rewrite the script. Just memorize, just rehearse them exactly as they're written, and they'll come from you when the time comes. But oh, you're talking about like list presentations? I have a lot of buyers. So it will go out to my entire database, even the buyers that I don't know are ready to buy. People that are, I tell them, I've got a large database. I have databases. I said I work with a lot of agents. My office is very close to it. We share our listings. So you're going to go out to my database. Plus, when you come in here and say, hey, I got a new listing, it's going live in a week. Here's at 123 Main Street. It's going to be about $250,000. I'll have pictures next week. Everybody in here is writing it down. So you are putting out to his database, my database. So what, we got thousands of people between us. So yes, so it's going to go out to thousands of people before we ever hit the market, because I'm going to share it with every agent in my market. Saying we have over 260 agents, and we are going to push it out to our database to see if anybody's interested. So when now, unless if a buyer wants to sell or seller wants to sell the house without ever putting it on the market, that's a different script. But I always use script when I'm listing a house. Is that yes, I will push it out to thousands of people. I have thousands of people in my database that are going to get it. I asked my database, the 7,000 plus people I have in my database, to put it out to their database. So, you know, the pyramid, one guy at the top, he sends it to 2 people, they send it to 2 people, that's now 7 people, and then there's 12, and then there's 24. And the further out it goes, it's just unbelievable. I ask people to send it out to everybody they know. And then I ask them to ask their friends, hey, you think you know somebody that might be looking, send it out to your people. Send it out to your people. More people that send it out. Whoever brings me a buyer, if you bring me a buyer or like if I'm looking for a house and they bring me somebody that might want to sell their house, I reward the effort, not, you know, if you send me a buyer, say, hey, my buddy's looking to buy a house, I'm gonna talk to him for you and try to get him to call you. I will reward that effort. I don't wait for that guy to call me like, oh, I got a buyer, thank you. Now I'm going to reward you because you can't do that. You can't pay for the buyer to make the effort. So it's gonna, you know, coffee card, a thank you note. It doesn't have to be something expensive, but send them a card. And then, you know, like on holidays, birthdays, all that shit, you know, you go in there after Christmas, go buy all the Christmas cards when they're 50, 60, 70% off, right? That's when you buy that stuff. And then you have your file cabinet. You're like, okay, well, February is Valentine's Day. So in January, I'm throwing all my Valentine cards in there. And then Christmas in November and Thanksgiving's in October. And so, and then I have the generic cards that you have to handwrite. My handwriting sucks, but I handwrite them. I don't use those writing apps and stuff like that. So yes, so a little bit of preparation, but you reward the effort. I'd love to get into really get into the scripts aspect of it because you don't, like, nobody knows the right thing to say. Nobody's born with that. They don't care what business you're in. Real estate's not like any other sales job. It's completely different. So just do the scripts. And there are thousands of scripts. If you see a script from some competitor, if you see a script from, like Jeff Glover has a whole script book, and it's not KW scripts, it's a different script book. I would read those too, because some of, like, you read one, you're like, this is stupid, this makes no sense at all. Like if it says, hey, the buyer wants to buy a house, you smack them across the face and say, sign the docs now. That's a bad script, so just throw that one away. But if there are variations of every script that are still good. So read those and, work through, like, commit all those to memory, because you want to be able to, somebody asks a question, you want it to flow like you've been doing 1,000 years. You want to be able to convince people. People are convinced more by how you say it than what you say. If you're convinced of it, they'll be convinced of it too. So real quick, functionary, fiduciary. We are fiduciaries, not functionaries. Don't get functionaries. Push closings through. They don't have your client's best interest at their heart. Fiduciary, client's interest always above yours. God forbid, I hope nobody ever runs to a point where you're going to lose your house, your power is going to be turned off. I've had agents that have sat in this room who the business wasn't growing as fast as they could. They had to go get another job. If you get to that point in life, go get the other job, but still do this. Like, this guy was a door-to-door phone salesman. And I'm like, great real estate, because that job sounds like it sucks, right? I mean, I'm not want to buy a phone. No, God, no, I wouldn't want to do that job for nothing. And he does pretty good, but he had to go back and do his other job for a while. So if you got to go back, just don't give your license up. Put it in holding, or keep paying the debt service on all the fees we got to pay, and keep trying to get back into this full time. I did this part time for a lot of years, made a lot of extra money. Started into it because I wanted to buy houses. I started buying investment properties. Back in 2005, they took the MLS away from the public and made it agents only. And they just started the free. And I'm like, that's fine. I'll get my license. I don't give a shit. I took the Carlton Sheets real estate class. Yeah. 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 Mine was all cassettes. You know what a cassette is, right? It's a little square. My daughter's, I got a Corvette. My daughter's poking her hand in the desk. She goes, Dad, why is there a hole in the dash where the radio is? I'm like, shut the hell up. They know how to roll the windows down. I'm like, think the hand will do this. They were giggling. They're like, it's fine. I'm like, yeah, okay, shut up. But so, okay, so fiduciary, let's get back on track. All right, so dual agency. What the book says they want me to tell you is that as a new agent, sure you've done dual agents before, but as a new agent, we say avoid because you're a fiduciary. You have to be neutral. You can't tell the seller what the buyer doesn't want the seller to know, and you can't tell the buyer what the seller doesn't want the seller to know. And then when you get into negotiations, the furnace is 20 years old. Works fine. There's a little bit of rust, there's no pinning, there's no problems, everything works, it's cooling right, its output's good, but it's 20 friggin' years old. Furnaces, 20-year-old furnaces aren't like 50-year-old furnaces. 50-year-old Williamsons will last another 50 years. 20-year-old furnaces are dead. I noticed because I have a 25-year-old furnace and I'm replacing it. So, and there's nothing wrong with it. It's just, it's old, it's time. So, yep. You gotta negotiate, right? You gotta negotiate with the buyer for what's their best interest. And if it's a 20-year-old furnace that should be replaced or warranted, right? If I was a buyer's agent, like, yeah, it's old, it's 20, 25 years old, that AC outside is looking rough, it's rattling, the inspector says it's old, right? Still works. The Freon is 3 generations past. So we're gonna say, we want some money for this furnace, or we want you to buy us at least 1 year warranty, preferably 2, so that I can blow that sumbitch up the first year I got it, right? Run it hot, run it cold, run it hot, run it cold, get it to break, call the warranty, and be like, come fix it. They come out, we can't fix it. I get a new furnace for $100. So we want at least that aspect of it. At least give them 2 years before the furnace could die. The furnace could die the day you move in. I bought a house once, moved in, I heard a hissing sound went down the basement, the water heater is squirting across the room. I'm like, why did I hear it's fine? I knew it was older. I was like, well, it's time. So I had to replace the water heater the day I moved into the house. And I didn't buy the warranty. Buy the warranty now. I know some people that buy the warranty every year. They pay the $500 every year. Continue to keep a real estate based warranty on their home to cover the major mechanicals. You want to do that? $500, and when shit breaks, you know, usually the one thing breaks, you get your money back. Unless it's like a stove, they're like $400 or $500. But so dual agency is difficult unless you can 100% separate the two. You have to be able to explain to the buyer what the buyer should be asking for, negotiate with them on their best path, and then shut it off, go to the seller, like the buyer's asking for this, and then talk to the seller about what's in their best interest. But what I tell people on dual agency is I try to help buyers and sellers meet in the middle. If I get a listing and I'm going to do dual agent, I tell the seller, I can't tell you what the buyer's thinking, but if I'm not the buyer's rep and I'm just your agent, I don't know what the buyer's thinking. I can guess. So you got my educated guess that you'll be losing because I can't tell you. I think the buyers would be okay with not fixing the furnace and go ahead and buy it because they told me that, right? But I can't guess. I can't make that distinction. I can do it. I can help you come to a decision that's in your best interest, and then hope that their best interest and their best interest meet in the middle. And as a dual agent, what I can do is I can help mediate that. Like as a buyer's agent, I try to make sure that I don't allow inspection companies to doom and gloom the property, to come up with these crazy, outlandish things that are wrong with the property. Like I had a stucco house, a little bit of stucco peeling off outside behind a bush. And the inspector wrote in the report that it was probably, I remember in Florida when the stucco was too much sand and the stucco started falling off houses. There was a period of time back in the 90s. Well, he used that analogy. Oh, well, stucco, well, they probably, see it's probably even worse below ground because they didn't mix it right. And it's probably the house might fall apart, to be honest with you. I mean, that's literally, he wrote something very similar to that in the inspection report. I threw a fit with him. We almost lost the deal. I told him, I said, look, we can bring a professional in. I said, I know the seller. I have both sides. So I know the seller. He told me, should I paint this? I said, yeah. And I said, what's going on here? He said, well, I weed eat. He said, when I weed eat up close to the house, my weed eater piece of shit out of stucco causes the flakes come down. Flake, it scratches it up. So I said, scrape it and paint it. Well, he scraped it, painted, left some paint flakes in the mulch. And that's what was causing the house to fall down. So I was able to explain that, and I use that as an analogy with my sellers, like I can avoid some of these issues. If your shit's broken, if the roof is leaking, you got mold, the furnace is dead, you got a pitted heat exchanger, and it has to be replaced, I can't convince a buyer to overlook that. I can talk to them about, hey, you want money, you want this, you want that, and we can do different things. I said, but I can help you, or I can tip it off to somebody else. About 95% of the time, my sellers are like, yeah, you can go ahead and bring your buyer. And if not, then I'll put somebody else, I'll be like, tip me out, run with it, have fun. And I get paid part of his commission through a tip. But dual agencies, new agents, they say don't do it. It creates a lot of liability. If you're dual agent and one side, let's say that no fault of your own, something catastrophic is wrong with the house, the buyer decides you were a listing agent, you work for them, they think you work for the seller, sold them this lemon, who are they going to sell? Who are they going to sue? They're going to sue you, right? They're going to sue you. I had a buyer sue me, take me to the board, because her agent didn't do her job. I was just a listing agent. And I did everything right. Document everything. That's another thing. Document. I have advice. So when I meet with my clients, you ever seen these? I don't even know what it's called now, but anyway, so I just push it one time, and it records everything. And then I open my phone up, open up the AI app, and I decide how I want it to review. If it's a walkthrough with a punch out list I want to do for a house, or if I meet with a buyer and I want to ask them all these questions about what they're looking for in a house, and the wife, husband talking, I don't take notes. When it's done, I put it in the thing, I say, put in there that I want a script for a buyer and seller for buyer consultation, and AI will read it and do a punch out list for me. They'll do a notes thing, and then what I do, I take it, I drop it into an email. I'm like, hey, took notes of our meeting today. Let me know if anything's different. If you want any changes, but this is what I understand where we're at today. And I sent them, and it's beautiful. I just did a punch out list on one of my new listings and told them everything I wanted them to do. And I told them, I was like, this is a priority. This is at your board and want to do something this weekend, or this is that. We go through the whole house, I talk. I sent them a 4-page document with like 2 giant paragraphs overview, talking about the concept of what we're trying to come to. That was beautiful. I could never come up with that shit myself. And $160 gives me a year's worth of AI stuff. So that's one of the ways I use AI in my business, because I forget shit. I forget clients. Chad will tell you that, ask him about how many commission checks I had. I forgot. I saw all these houses. I sold 12 houses in December, like back in, I think it was 24, 23, I think it was. It was 24. And, Lindsay, she goes, hey, where's these commission checks? And it's like February. And I'm like, what are you talking about? She goes, this has this, and she sends me this list. I'm like, holy shit. So I go and I'm pulling all these files out. I'm like, oh, I got them right here. I had like 9 commission checks, and I did any of them. I hate the paperwork. That's why I hired them. But okay, so dual agency, if you do it, be extremely careful, because and this is another wonderful thing about real estate, is you're one successful lawsuit from going away, right? Somebody sues you and wins, they're not getting $1, they're getting some money, and the board will probably fine you if somebody sues you and wins as well. So fiduciary responsibility is to your client. It's very difficult to have 2 different clients. It can be done. Just tread lightly, educate your buyers or sellers on what you can and cannot do. And always, if you don't, like I recorded, send them notes, but if you have a conversation with them about, and you have the seller sign off on dual agency, because they got to sign off on that. You're only representing them. So you have to have them sign off on the document that they're allowing you to be a dual agent. before you ever even bring the client through the property, right? So send them an email, document. Text message is hard. I've got apps where you can screenshot and thread the text message together, and it'll save it as a one large document. But email is wonderful. Send them an email. Say, hey, I just want to recap our conversation for today. We talked about my buyer potentially wanting to see your house. You said it would be okay for dual agent because I can't do this. They can't do this for them. I can't do this for you. But I can help you guys kind of come to a happy medium where if you're okay and happy with the transaction, they're okay, have a transaction, we have a sale, which is what real estate agents do is we bring husbands and wives together and we marry them. Sometimes it's a house. But if you can do that, great. If not, just tip it out, let somebody else handle it. We want to set expectations. Okay, so like when you're, we already talked about the HVAC system, right? You can't tell the buyers, this is a shitty system, you need to ask for a new one. Tell the sellers, screw them, it works just fine, tell them no. Well, you just kill the deal. So you can't do that. So that's the hard part about it is being fiduciary for two different people. But setting expectations. Okay, so setting expectations. If you're meeting with let's say your buyer's under contract, is that what you've got the buyer agreement signed. So you want to tell them, you want to talk about what you went through prior, which is setting up their search, right? You want to talk to them when you're talking about setting up the search, then you're talking about setting up a search. And then you're going to talk to them about showing them houses. So you talk to them about the stage prior, like when you're in inspections, you talk about, okay, we just got it under contract. Remember the contract we put in, we asked for 7 days for inspections. Well, we're in inspection period now. Today's day 3, our final day is this. And then once we're done with this, we're going to prepare a report. We're going to accept the property, or if there's something majorly wrong, no minor stuff, but majorly wrong. Remember we had that conversation about what's major, what's minor, what's a household item, what's something that needs to be fixed, that should be fixed, like a roof, furnace, foundation, electrical, plumbing, those things that are major, not a drippy aerator or a crack here or there, but major things. We're going to write that. We have to have that to it by then, and then they're going to have it here. They're going to kick it back to us, and then we get that through. The next step is going to be the appraisal. And so, and they talk like stuff like insurance. A lot of times, insurance people forget about insurance. Now the contract says that insurance, you have to put a timeline to the insurance. You're going to write a contract offer, and you ask for 7 days, 10 days, 14 days for inspections. The shorter, the better your offer looks. But if you're going to write a contract with an inspection period, that insurance period is the same timeline as your inspection. That's part of your inspection. Before, the contract used to be like, oh, well, you could do 7 days for inspections, and then you had a guaranteed 14 days for insurance. So you could like get your inspections, sellers could agree to fix everything, and then you could walk away. Like, the insurance will cost me $1 a year. No, I can't. Okay. Right? So it didn't even say it had, like, it weren't even parameters. It's just like, if you want, just walk away with the inspection for the insurance. Like, then they got to work, the inspection, you had to give the seller the ability to fix it. Or you could just say, well, there's the furnace is old, we're out. No, you have to give the seller the ability to make it whole. You can't say, well, they'll fix it. You can say, no, it's 20 years old, it's bad, you want a new one. That you can get out, but you could just say, the furnace is 15 years old, we don't want the house. But you could do insurance. You say, insurance cost me $1 a year for this $1 million property. I'm out. I don't want it. They're going to be first 5 years free, but that 6 years is going to cost me $2.50 for insurance. I don't want the house. And that was legit. So contractually, you were able to get out of the house. Now there's a whole lot of legal other stuff involved, but if the insurance period now, it's the same timeline as your inspections. So have them call their insurance agent, whoever they're using now, get a quote. If they're okay with the quote from their current insurance agent, then they can shop around before they close. But just get them to check that shit before the inspection period's over, and don't do that dragging it out process. Okay. Again, more on setting the expectations. Just remember, when you're working with a buyer or with a seller, you talk about what you did prior, what you're doing now, and then once you're done with what you're doing now, what you're going to do next. And when you finish the inspections and you're on appraisal, you say, okay, well, now we're done with inspections. So part of that is they're gonna do the repairs that we asked for. And we're gonna be able to go back and check that before closing. But now we're waiting on the appraisal. Once the appraisal's done, then we're going to this. So wherever you're at in the timeline, you're constantly reassuring your client. And if you create an email with the timeline in it, and then you can just highlight where they're at, and you make that a template. That way you're like, oh, we're in inspection. You pull up your appraisal timeline, and your appraisal timeline will talk about the inspections. You're gonna put in your dates of all your completion inspections. You're gonna put a little note in there about what they were supposed to have done. Talk about then it talks about the appraisal, the duration usually takes for appraisal, what happens if it's high, what happens if it's low, what happens if it's spot on. And then you talk about the next step. So it's always a 3-part of that step. And if you create those emails ahead of time, saves you light years moving down the road. And you Google that shit. Find somebody, people post it, people get proud, they post that on the Google, they post it on the internet. Steal it, drop it in, create your template. If you don't know how to create a template, call me, I'll help you. It's real easy to do. And tweak it out, put in all your color, little graphics and emojis if you want, make it all pretty, and then save it. And then that way you look like a rock star where you're constantly sending out these emails and it's just detail after detail. And your client, you call, hey, did you get my email about the appraisal? You did? Any questions? No, great. As soon as I hear something, I'll get back to you. And that's it. That's the conversation. They know exactly where they're always at. They can pull up the emails by just checking their email for you, see all the emails from you. They go, oh, last email. They can read it again if they're confused, but they can call you. But they are fully aware of every aspect of it. That's the communication key piece, and that's what gets your buyers and sellers to be clients for life. So, transaction process. Take that, create a cute little drop down, or create. You could take this and put it in an email, and then highlight. Okay, we're right here. Okay. So that's in yellow and everything else is black. And so when you send it to them, then you have the narrative below that. They go, oh, we're right now we're under negotiations. And this is what it says about negotiations. And you can ask AI to tell you all the shit you want about each of these topics. And it sounds beautiful, and you can create that. It's an afternoon, couple hours, and you've got a heck of a follow-up email stream. So vendor coordination is your appraiser. I'm sorry, that's your inspection company, your termites. Yeah, radon. If you have to have the pool checked, or you need a roofer to come out, because sometimes inspectors go, "Yeah, roof looks all right here," or a chimney sweep. If you got spalling on a chimney, or you want to check that, or a sewer scope. There's so many damn inspections they could do. And so you want to have those inspections. Part of the email that you're going to send them about inspections, it's going to be long. All that shit listed so they can decide what they want. And you're going to have vendors that will help them. Sometimes you call the home inspector and he'll have a sewer guy and a termite guy and a roof guy that he'll bring out. But a lot of times what a whole house inspector does is they just gloss. Like they'll go through and they'll check this window, check that window. 3 or 4 out of 24 windows open, they stop checking them. If one's bad, they'll check a few more. They check an outlet, it works. Oh, that was bad. Let me check another one. Oh, that one's bad too. Let me check a few more. That works. Okay, we're good. So you got a few outlets that are bad now. 2 or more. I love that. 2 or more outlets now are bad. You want an inspector that's going to like put a little blue tape on that shit, so that the sellers know which outlets are bad. You know which outlet bad. Their photo, their report is going to tell you what room it is, what walls it's on. And it's marked with a piece of tape. So you can, when you send that report to the seller, like, hey, you got 2 bad outlets. GFI doesn't work in the bathroom. I'm an FHA buyer, so that really needs to be fixed. They're cheap. Can you hack yourself fix that so that your appraiser doesn't? Because they will check. Sometimes appraisers are really goofy and they'll check that stuff. So create that. That is your communication key for both sides, from getting them under contract all the way through to the closing. It's all there. In post-closing, you can talk about that. Like, what are you going to provide after closing? I want to be your resource for all things home related. I want to be a resource about if you want to refi. I want to be a resource about how to pull the equity out of your house and buy investment so you can retire at an early age. There's never a time when you shouldn't take your equity and invest. So, and then you have those conversations with them post-closing. Let's say, when we're done with it buying your house, I want to sit down with you. I want to come back to your house and see what you did, right? You do the celebratory thing, pop champagne, give them a gift, take pictures in front of the house, hold the stupid key that says, I bought my house with Mark. Do all that shit, do it. Go on script, videotape them, saying how wonderful you are, because they're not going to sit there and say Mark was okay. With me sitting next to them, no, they just bought their house. Everything on Mark was great. He's very attentive. How was I on communication? Oh, you were great on communication. Oh my God, you called us all the time. How about helping you negotiate your inspections? Was that fun? Oh, that was terrible, but you did an awesome job. You're a beast. They're not going to say, yeah, you sucked, right? You're on tape. Unless you did suck. You did suck. Don't, and you record it, don't use it. Or take the video and make it real. They say, oh, Mark was a great communication, but he really sucked there at the end. He ghosted us for 3 weeks. No, so just use the first part. Put that first part out. And don't send them a Google review unless you get at least 4 stars. I always tell them I want 5 stars. So if I didn't get 5 stars, what do I got to do to give you 5 stars? Let's go have some drinks. We'll talk about it, right? So, all right. So we've got a few more stuff to go. If you guys want to do it, if you got to split, you can split. But we talked about timelines, document expectation. We talked about documents. Let me just go over that. You need to know the documents inside out. Did you guys go over documents yet? Contracts, listed contracts, buyer contracts, all the other documents, the appraisal, the appraisal waiver, escalation addendum. I have a document that I created, but I used legal language from an attorney. But I have a document I use talking about buyer understanding of appraisal of inspections. So the buyer inspection understanding document, it just says my buyer is fully aware that inspections are for high liability, high cost, high value items, and that home maintenance items, deferred maintenance, small, less costly items are not to be considered during the inspection. So what are you doing? You're saying exactly what an inspection is supposed to be, right? It's supposed to be for the big ticket items, not the little bullshit, not, oh, well, the aerator in the bathroom was dripping when he turned it on, turned it off, it dripped for like a minute before it stopped. We want you to fix that. No, screw you, go away. So I educate my buyers on what's important, what's not. And I want the sellers to know that, because when I send that document with my offer that my buyer signed, put my buyers on notice, high liability items, I'm telling the seller because it makes my offer look better. That's like an appraisal gap of sort, right? So you got to know all the documents. And there are a lot of them. I don't use, you guys using was it DocuSign? Or yeah, I don't use DocuSign. It's too difficult for me. I'm stupid. I like download, so I pay the fee for download. But when you get a buyer under contract, you have to go through the buyer agreement, and you have to be able to explain that. And you don't go, and then you don't read it to them, right? You say this section here, it talks about this. And you can read it, but it talks about this. And then down here, this is a waiver. It says that I'm relying on this, that, and the other. This is my commission. This is where I get paid. I said, I've been doing this a long time. Sellers always pay my commission. I work very hard to pay my commission. And in the event that a seller will not, then the price will reflect that you're covered by commission. Can you do that? And if they say no, rich people will be like, yeah, was it $10,000, $12,000, $14,000, $15,000? They're like, yeah, I can pay it if I have to. Just say, well, that fee, we'll make sure that that fee, as part of your purchase, we'll make sure that the house is valued enough. So when you're paying my fee, that it is, in fact, the house is $15,000 higher value than, so you're not overpaying for the services, because traditionally sellers pay the agencies. It's not as traditional anymore, but I'm very good at getting a seller to pay my fees, so you won't have to come out of pocket the extra money. And then we move to the next section. If you don't know it and you can't articulate it, and you gotta go, well, this section means, what is it? If you have to get to that point, you might lose them. So read the contract over and over and over again. Highlight, make notes. If you have a question, ask somebody the question, get an answer so that you know those documents inside out. But you're supposed to. You're supposed to be able to explain the documents, and they're supposed to be able to trust you. If you don't know the document, they're not going to trust you. We talk about communication. That's the whole thing where you have the form for buyers and sellers. How do you want to be communicated with? What email, text, phone call, what time of day, who am I calling, how many times a week? They're like, how many times a week? Want to call me? I was like, I want to call you every time I have something to say, and I'm going to touch base with you twice a week. Beginning of the week, and end of the week. And any time in between, if I got something to add. But it'll be two times a week. You're gonna get, is Monday and Thursday okay? Yeah. Well, no, I work a lot on Monday. How about Sunday? Okay, well, you're on Sunday. So then I put them in my database, call them on Sunday and on Thursday, and you do it. Ain't got nothing to add. Are you looking at houses? Because we ain't seen nothing in a few days. You know, and then I go on like, let's pull it up right now. You got time to pull it up right now? Let's pull it right now. Let's take a look. What do you think about this one? No. Well, let's Ghostbuster. Get it out of there. And then you have it. So it's just touches. So setting the communication thing, getting that done. Setting contingencies are you going on vacation as an agent? I'm leaving Friday. I hate going out. I'm leaving Friday for 11 days, going on this stupid cruise because I'm lazy and I'm taking my parents and all my kids. And I figured let's give that a shot and I won't have to do so much. But you know, so you have to, the contingency is I got to let every one of my clients, I've let half of them know, I've got to let the rest of them, I let everybody in my database know. It's a touch. Hey, going out of town, look for me to post an abnormally large amount of stupid pictures of me on a cruise ship. So I'm sorry about that, but when you see your social media accounts, I'm going to be blowing it up with pictures of me. I'm going to try to avoid the picture of me in a bikini, you know, my little Speedo, but you're going to see me on a cruise. So, but if you need something, let me know and email me if you're thinking about looking at a house. If you want to look at a house, email me, call me. Let's talk to it now so that I can get you set up with my agent, who's a phenomenal guy. He's going to take really good care of your wallet on. And then people will like, no, I'm not, but my sister wants to list her house. We'll wait to get back. I'm like, oh no, let me talk to her now. Let me get her signed on some shit now before we get going. So set the contingencies. Ask your clients, are they going out of town? Or are they going to be gone? And then not to mention stuff like, you want to set the market conditions like right now, back in January, February, March, market conditions were pretty good. Still kind of a seller's market. Now it's not a buyer's market. People go, oh, it's a buyer's market. It's not. It's not even a neutral market until we have like 6 months of property on the market, according to the experts. Now they might change that because we're in a new world in 6 months where the property seems like an awful lot to have a house sit for 6 months to be a neutral market, but we're not a buyer's market now. The buyers are taking more time. Your house will be on the market longer. Know what, especially with sellers, know how long they can wait. Talk to buyers too, but with sellers, the average days on market are here. If we price it right, it's here. But if we don't price it right, price it a little high, not as aggressive, we're going to be on the market this long. And say, what do you want? Do you want to be on the market longer? Do you want to sell it quickly, or maybe price it a little below market value so we get more buyers to ride on? We can get them to open up their purses and ride it above. And then reduce that to writing and send it to your clients so that they are on notice. This is the perception you have got from that conversation. If they don't like it, change it. But this is how we're moving forward. So setting that market expectation and on their listing or buying and everything else, we want to do that. And then, we have tech. You guys, I'm not going to go into the KW Tech programs, but Command is wonderful. Run your business from Command. For years when I got here, I didn't run my business from Command, and I wish I had, because now, last couple of years, I've been trying to open up my CRM and operate from it as a guide to run my business. Like the DTD2s, you guys have seen that, right? Love that way to systematically approach your database. It's basically just 26 letters split up over 13, whether it's 13 days, 13 weeks, 13 months, 13 years, however you want to split it up, it breaks it down for you so you can contact your people. If you just want to use it as I call all A&Ws, and then the next one is B&D, then once you're through A&W, if you did it in a day, jump to B&D, start that. But every day you're working through that systematically to make sure you cover everybody. So there's 3 steps to gain referrals. You got to provide the value. That means that's communication. That's building that relationship. Asking for help. What did it say about asking for help? Referrals. Yes, geez, why didn't I know that? Referral. Ask for help. We're in a business that we want to help you. If I did a good job for you, I want you to tell your friends and family and send them my way so I can do a good job for them. Did I do a good job? Yeah, 5 stars, loved you. Tell your people, because that's how I grow my business, and I love working with people, and I love to help your friends and family. You'll look like a rock star if your brother calls me and I do a good job for him, right? If he calls somebody else, they do a shitty job, or he loses money selling his house, or he buys a lemon, buys a piece of crap, you gonna feel bad for your brother? No. I think, well, call him anyways, tell him, you refer me out. And what I do is I have a document that I make people sign. When I'm listing your house, one of the documents I have is if I do a 5-star job for you, this document here says you're gonna bring me 1 buyer, 1 seller, which means you're gonna work for me until you do this. Now, I'm not gonna call you every day and be like, get to work, but I want you to help me grow my business. If I do a 5-star review for you, I want you to talk to your friends and family and help me grow my business. Can you do that? Can you talk me up if I do a great job? If I do a perfect job for you, will you tell your friend, yeah, fine, sign this document. And I give them a copy of it, close it. Remember this? You signed it. I do 5. Pass it. I do a 5-star. I did. Here's our contract. We're not done yet. Right? And you smile, laugh because you build a rapport with them, but asking for help, asking for those referrals, asking for the reviews, and then a reward, right? If they say, hey, I called my brother, he's gonna call you next week, he wants to buy an investment property. Reward the effort. Don't reward the client. Cannot pay for referrals, but you can pay for people talking to their friends and family and letting you know, hey, I just called my sister-in-law. She said they're getting a divorce. I told them that they need to use you. You're very good, neutral. You'll take care of both sides. They'll be perfect. They'll give you a call. I really appreciate the vote of confidence. Thank you so much for that, because divorces can be hard, and I definitely can do a good job for them. So, keep an eye on your mail and a little something. You're rewarding the effort, and if they never call you, that's not the intent. The intent is to reward them for trying, because every listing you go on, you ain't going to win it, right? But you try, so you're rewarding the try. So provide your value to your clients, ask them to give you more clients, and then reward them for giving it the 5 stars. All right.
I got it right.
Yeah. If you need anything, give me a call. Love to help you out. All right. So we're almost done. Seller reviews, buyer reviews, talked about those. You have to set the expectation up front. Talk to the sellers, talk to the buyers. Once you're under contract with the listing, you're under contract with the buyer agreement. When you're meeting with them, say, hey, I've got one more document for you to sign. And if I do this, you're going to do this for me. Will you do that? What are they going to say? Yeah, sure. If you take care of me and you do a great job for us, yes, we will refer you out. So that's a no-brainer. Get them to sign it, and then I got them. I got their signature on a document, say they're going to help me out. I skip that. Success with buyers. All right. We really went way beyond the program. You guys got about another 10 minutes? Can you give me another 10 minutes? You're done. Good. All right. So real quick on buyers. What do buyers want? They want you to help them find the right home. They want you to help them negotiate 11% time. Negotiate the terms of the sale, negotiate price, and then all the other stuff is stuff like inspections and negotiating the contract with buyers and all that. So 52% just want you to make sure that the home they're buying is worth what they're paying for. CMAs, right? Whether you use the RPR, whether you do your own. We offer a CMA class here. You guys taken that? Yeah, Russ, I'm not taking Russ CMA class. Have you taken it? Did he do a good job? Very detailed, step by step, talk to you. He didn't get too. Russ can get very into the weeds with legality stuff, like very smart. He's smart. But if he creates if you can create a good CMA. CMA that will tell you whether you're gonna make it through the appraisal, right? If you don't make it through the appraisal, a lot of times you're screwed. And it'll tell you what you're gonna list the house for. Your seller will be like, the house down the street sold for $500,000, and well, I got an extra bedroom, so mine's worth $700,000, right? So people always think they got more than they do. So the CMA, you got to be able to run it right, get the right value, and then present it and articulate that this is why your house is in this range, right? It's not you're worth 500. No, you're worth between 475 and 525. How fast you want to move. And then you can go through and say, well, the days on market are this, we price it right, so we price it a little lower than the top end of the value. You're gonna get more buyers through, faster offer. Buyers aren't gonna be like, I paid way too much for this house, I'm gonna beat them up in inspections. If you ever a buyer tell you that, have that conversation. Well, we'll just go ahead and write the higher number, and then we'll just beat them up in inspections and get it down to where I want to pay. It's like, no, it needs to be worth the property. What we see, until we see something that can cause us to change that price, or the offer you write has to be the offer you'll pay. Because don't let inspections kind of beat you up on that. Buyer needs analysis. I don't want to talk about that. There are 1,000 buyer needs analysis you can download. KW has them. Every agency has them. They come in one page. They come in 40 pages. But the idea is you're always analyzing your buyers, because buyers like changes and like changes your buyer. So same with sellers. Both of those are the same. Things happen. Sellers can lose their job. Kids can need braces. A car can break down. Any number of things can go wrong in life that just drains your bank account or gives you more money or whatever. So you're always buyer and seller needs analysis. These are the same. You're going to ask them the questions, make notes, reaffirm with your client what they said. That's why I love my little AI dude who keeps notes for me, because I don't remember very well, and I suck at writing. So you can create this, send it to your buyers prior to meeting the first time you meet them. You send it to your sellers, have them fill it out as your pre-listing packet. Hey, I just want to tell you, to skip the process, I am so convinced you're going to use me as your listing agent. I'm going to give you this. And if you don't use me, then you can give us the other agent who is not giving you this right now. Pre-listing packet, very important, helps me understand a little bit more about you. So when I get here, you got a lot of legwork done, I don't waste your time. So I'm gonna give it to you. If you don't go with me, that's fine. Give it to the other guy, the guy who's not as good as me. Give it to him and let him list the house. But I'm giving you some documents. And I'm not, you're not gonna say that, but you're gonna giving them these needs analysis ahead of time is really important. Give them homework before you ever meet them. Nobody does that. Nobody does that. If you door knock an open house, nobody does it. You all live in neighborhoods, right? How many times an agent knock on your door and say, I'm open the house on that street, around the block, two streets over? You ever had anybody knock on your door? An agent with a flyer inviting you to the open house? No, because agents don't do it. We tell you to do it. I don't do it. I did it a few times and it works out, but it's very, very time consuming. Is she? Yeah, do the 7th level open house. Do it because there's business to be having. Because nobody does it, right? So same with the buyer needs analysis. Seller, what are you gonna do on your value proposition? I'm a door knock. How many houses you sold, Mr. or Mrs. Seller? Oh, you sold 3 houses in your life? Has your agent ever went to your neighbors all around your house and knocked them and invited them to a private neighbor open? You can be here, show your neighbors. You can be here, meet your neighbors, invite all your neighbors. You can invite them, I'll invite them, we'll have a little party. And the neighbors all get to your house. We'll tell the neighbors, I'm gonna go to each one of your neighbors and say, hey, you guys may live in the neighborhood. What better when your friend moves out of the neighborhood is that you put somebody there you like? Because it's a crapshoot. People are assholes. Do you want an asshole move next year, or do you want to put somebody there you like? So if they like their neighborhood, they may know somebody wants to move in. If they don't like your neighborhood, give your card. Maybe they'll still sell their house next. Because what are you gonna do afterwards? Right? You're gonna go back to those same neighbors afterwards and be like, hey, I just sold the house down the street. Got a great price, had tons of interest, got 5 or 6 contracts, whatever, just make it up or tell the truth. If you know anybody looking to move or sell their house, I've got buyers looking right now. What about you guys? You guys thought about moving? No? You know anybody else in the neighborhood might consider moving? So those are all conversations we're touching. Nobody's doing that. If you're doing it, kudos to you, you'll do great. So we talked about that. Tough conversations, fiduciary conversations. Tough conversations are about like, yeah, price reductions, inspection, like, like I had a client that they had their house, they called me up, tell me they want to sell it. We got in there and I had to have a conversation with them because the back wall of their house had structural issues in the basement. Both corners were busted at a 45-degree angle. It wasn't leaning, but that type of crack is indicative of pressure on the back wall causing it to pop, and the corners usually stay intact because they're more reinforced. So they'll break in between the corners. I said, we need to bring somebody in. They said, okay. I said, it's going to cost you. I had an idea how much. I told them. They're like, oh my God. I'm like, we can get a quote. We can add it to the listing agreement and say, hey, we'll pay for this at closing, but it's better if we fix it now. Can you do that? We had to have that hard conversation. They're like, well, what if we just don't tell them about it? Right? I'm like, well, they're going to know. Would you rather not disclose something, have them come in, like an obvious thing? If it's cracked and bowed in, you don't have to put that in your RPD, right? Because it's obvious. There's latent and there's what's the other one? Latent and material defects. So the latent defects you have to disclose. But if they're like, oh well, we got this bad crack, and they lay sheets of plywood across the base of the wall, right? Or they go down there and they mop real quick and keep it clean because the back corner leaks. They don't want to tell people that the back corner leaks. They know it leaks. You have to have those hard conversations about, hey, they're going to know when they buy the house that leaks and you haven't disclosed it, they can sue you and make you pay for it then. I said, plus they can get punitive damages out of it because you lied. We don't want to lie, right? We don't want to hide problems with the house, so we have to fix it. You wouldn't want to, a seller to do it to you. Well, they did it to me. I'm like, well, you could have sued them. I can tell you that if a buyer comes in here and you've hidden something, you've not disclosed something, you had a fire, you didn't disclose it, even though you repaired it all. We only do the 5 years on most stuff, sometimes a lifetime on the other, but that's why investors sell houses like, I've never lived in it, I don't know. Bullshit, you just flipped the whole damn house. You know more about this house than any homeowner. But they always like, I've never lived in it. So it's buyer beware, state of Ohio. But if you hide or fail to disclose, you can be sued. And now that I know, I can't not disclose it because now I can be sued. So we got to have those hard conversations with them. And it's in their best interest. Those are fiduciary conversations that you're having. Some of the questions that, okay, so you want to show home based on needs analysis. Do a needs analysis, they send you a home. Let's say we don't want to buy anything over $350,000. They send you a $500,000. So you don't just schedule it, call them and talk to them about it. Why, what's going on, what's changed in your needs? Because I'm looking at your needs analysis, it says you're only pre-qualified up to 350. Well, my husband got a bonus. All right, so we can do that. Okay, well, then it's fine. Oh, we just wanted to see it. I'm like, well, here's the thing. Don't say you're wasting my friggin' time. I ain't got time to go window shopping with you. Just say, hey, when you go look at a $500,000 house, can you agree that a $500,000 house is better than $350,000 house? Well, yeah. So if you're looking at a $500,000 house, when you go look at $350,000 house, you think you're gonna like them? Or you're gonna want that $500,000 house? Well, I'm gonna like $500,000 house. So now everything that you look at in your price point that you're able to buy, that you want to buy, is now crap to you because you went and looked at a $500,000 house. Let's look at these houses. Let's wait until after we find your dream, and then we'll move on. And then if you want a $500,000 house, let's keep this house for a few years. I'll give you some pointers after we close on how to clean it up, fix it up, improve equity, raise your value, and we'll sell that sucker, take that money, and we'll buy you a $500,000 house. So I'm going to hold you to that. If you want a $500,000 house, I'm making a note right now. I'm going to talk to you at the closing. We'll talk about how to build value in your house over the next few years so you can have that $500,000. So you're showing your value proposition. Okay, we talked about best properties to provide value. If you're showing a house, take the MLS listing with you. I don't print the RPD and the lead-based paper unless there's something on the document. If it's a No, 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 no. There's no narratives. There's no indication there's anything wrong. I don't print that. I'm not wasting 5 sheets of paper on 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 houses to take clients out. If there's nothing, I'm like, yeah, the RPD is saying. If it's anything on it, I print it. Might just print that one page, staple it to their copy, be like, the only thing on the RPD is this. It says they get a little water back corner under heavy rains. Right? That's like, if your basement could flood. Heavy rains, we get a trickle of water. But so we take like mark properties on a map, answer questions, talk to them about the locations, be knowledgeable about property and neighborhoods. Don't say if a neighborhood's bad. Say we can research that. Say you can do some due diligence by driving through here on a Friday night. You know, if it's a super dangerous neighborhood, just say be careful, but check the neighborhood out at all times of day and night to see what the neighborhood looks like, to see if your neighbor blares a stereo, especially like Friday or Saturday night. If you buy a house and then you move in, because you never was there at nighttime, and the neighbor like drinks on a Friday night with a fire pit, and you can't open your windows because the smoke blows towards your house, and he's blaring a friggin' 25-foot speakers every night, you know, comfort living things are very important on house. So know the neighborhood, know the house. And if you want to know about crime stats, I can't tell you about crime stats. I was in law enforcement for 33 years. And I will not tell you. Some communities I know, I can tell you just about, you give me an address, I can tell you the color of their front. I know that much about houses. But I would never tell a person about crime stats because it's not our job. We're not allowed to do that. We're not allowed to talk about schools, but we can push them in the direction where they need to go to get that information and then let them make their own decisions. It's just because of the laws we can't do.
It's like having a neighbor that refers to himself as the machine that blares Metallica every night.
Does he do that? Is he your neighbor?
Yeah,
I'm sorry. You know, he's a good dude.
Yeah.
But I haven't talked to him in 35 years. And it's a little weird. He calls himself in a third
I didn't
person.
see the scenario where I just looked up.
Hold on. We're almost done.
Yeah.
Agent interactions. What I want to talk about. Okay, do you have a toolkit in your car? You go show them houses, umbrellas, measuring tape, or laser measure. Beverages and snacks. No, I mean, but if you want to bring color books and crayons and stuff, send the kids down the kitchen floor where they can't screw anything up and say, "Here, color me a picture, kids." You know, and then send your client a picture of the picture on the wall. This should be in your book, but send a picture of their kids drawing on your office wall. Take a picture, smiling with it, send it to them. Oh, look, you put it up on the wall, whatever, then take it down to the way. But like have a full contract there in case they want to say, yeah, let's go to Starbucks and handwrite it. I always take my laptop with me. I always take like, okay, another thing I wanted to show you guys, because we are in an industry that's a little dangerous. Like I teach stuff like little laser measure, like a measure properties. These are like 30 bucks. They're really cheap. They're so small you lose them. So be careful, don't lose it. I carry stuff like pepper spray. This is a little big.
I was saying this.
Yeah, that's bear spray. No, everybody has bear spray. No, it's just for like camping. It's but like this, I buy these for my kids. I also teach pepper spray. So if you're interested, I can help you with that. This is law enforcement grade. I only use the good stuff. This is 3 ounces. The little keychain pepper sprays are breath mints, throw them away. But like carrying something like this, very good to have. One other thing that I always carry is I carry an ink pen. You can carry a plastic pen. Like that pen right there will wreak havoc on somebody's face. You get tacked. This is the gift that keeps on giving. It's got a glass break on it. It writes really well. I buy these by like the hundreds. And this can be in my shirt. And I'm going to show you, like, if I'm walking through the house, I'm like, I have it in my hand, right? And I'm showing the house at 8 o'clock at night. It's dark. My phone ain't working. It's way out in the boonies. It's a vacant house. I don't know these guys. They had to see it immediately. They wouldn't give me their information. Wouldn't meet me at a Starbucks to talk about their buyer. We just want to see his house. We're going to do it real quick. Then we're going to get out. And give me all these cues. I'll probably still show it because I'm that guy. You know, if you carry a gun, great. But shooting somebody is way different than taking this, hitting them in the face with it. Might not kill them. All right. Punch them in the throat. You know, just take your fist. punch them in the throat, that, fingers to the eyes, throat, eyes, don't think about growing, shin, instep, don't try to do, takedowns and arm blocks, all that stuff. Carry an ink pen, hit them in the throat, that, if you hit them in the throat, it's gonna stun them, rake it down their face, and then run for the hill. But always have like your car parked, if you're on a cul-de-sac, park away, like drive away, run, get in your car, floor it. Just have it, if you're feeling uncomfortable, let them go upstairs, let them go downstairs by themselves, say, I gotta make a real quick call, go down and check out the case, I'll be right back. Because if you're like thinking they're gonna like kill you, or it's getting a little weird, like I had a guy once told an agent, she said, I need to stop by your house so we can sign this contract. She goes, because that's fine, but if you see the inside of my house, I'm gonna have to kill you. And she's like, can you handle this guy? He was really weird. I walked in his house, I'm not gonna lie to you. He had like everything from a ukulele to a bass cello. And then he had hatchets and spears and bow and arrows, compound bows all over the house. Swords. And I'm sitting in his house. There's an axe right here next to him and a sword laying on the ottoman in front of him by his feet. And I'm sitting on the edge of his couch going, inside this doc. Inside that, I'm thinking, I'm going to shoot this guy if he reaches for one of these. He was just a goofball. He gave me a mixtape that he plays music. He sings, sucks at it. Gave me a cassette tape. This was just a couple of years ago. Gave me a cassette tape of him singing. I'm like, I think we bought the house. So yeah, if you're getting the vibes, there's a whole safety protocol. Take it, learn it. Even guys are worse than ladies. Ladies, somebody attacks you, you can kill them, right? You can defend yourself, and you don't have to really articulate it. They have to bigger, stronger. You have to be weaker than them. They have to have more techniques. They have to, more likely might have to be injured to some degree. So guys are a little different. But pepper spray is a 45-minute pain in the ass. You spray them, they run away, you get away. They live to fight another day, and you go home. So pepper spray is great. If you're interested in that, let me know. Same with the ink pens. But shoe covers are very important. Business cards, umbrellas. Those. You want to carry hand wipes and stuff, don't think you probably dry out real quick. But flashlights for sure. Carry two, one for you, one for them, because you give them flashlights and you're just like, and if they're, so carry two. I've got a flashlight. It's a horrible flashlight. But why? Because comes in this case. I have this flashlight. It's super tiny, charges up, lasts for like a decade without charging, but it's so damn small, we'll lose it. It's like those earbuds, those Apple earbuds. I've lost, I don't know how many single earbuds I've lost over the years, and you always have to buy another set. So get a flashlight. Flashlights are great impact weapons too. They have attack bezels on and everything. But have some of this stuff in your car. Tape measures, level, flashlight. Masked if your clients are going to be COVID worried or if they're sick, we can do masks. Sometimes sellers, look at the seller notes. Sellers want you to wear booties and masks. Sometimes they don't even like wear them. So your clients are like, well, I didn't wear socks. You have shoes and no socks. All right, well, so I bring booties. I keep a box in my car. They just have a trunk of one of those plastic tubs in the back of my car. It's got a bunch of that shit in it. I need it, I got it. Always carry two umbrellas, one for you, one for them. But yeah, have that stuff. Safety first, we talked about that. Your job is to sell homes, not show homes. So after every home, get feedback, get detailed feedback. Your seller agents will love you. Your buyer agent, if you're a buyer agent, you will help your buyer narrow down their field from 1,000 homes anywhere in a 4-county radius, from 2 bedrooms to 27 bedrooms, $100,000 to $500,000. You're like, oh my God, let's narrow that shit down. So every home you show, you want to narrow it down. Reason buyers hesitate, if they're afraid to me, you have this conversation ahead of time. Look, we find a house, we like it. The market's such that if it's a great home and you think it's a great home, we're going to ride on it. We can't wait. If it's a shitty home, you're not sure, you want to do all these repairs after closing, so then maybe you can sleep on it, but still, you still lose. You're willing to lose the home, and then, you can sleep on it, but, you told me this, and this. You wanted to buy a home, you want to move, you want to be moved by this holiday, this, that, and the other, before the kids go to school. So give them all their reasons why. If they come up with a minor detail, talk to them about it.
don't dismiss it, because a lot of you tell them like, oh, well, the fence in the back needs some new panels and a couple bunch of boards. I'm like, oh, I got a contractor will help you with that. Or I get a contract, come in, cost you a few $100, they can fix that for you. Or we can ask soda fix it. What else you got? No, he sent it to. They haven't seen enough homes. I used to tell people, well, I would never let you buy a house unless you see a bunch of homes. So you gotta know what you're looking at before. You're right. Sometimes the first home is the first home. It's better for them to fall in love with the first home and buy it than it is to see 7,000, get so confused that they don't know what they want now. So just tell them, if we find a home that hits 80% of your criteria, not 100, but 80%, then let's move forward with it. Are you willing to do that? No, you're not going to find your dream home. There is no such thing as 100% of what you want. But if we can get you about 80% of those, or hit all most of the major items, does that work for you? Yeah, that'd be all right. Okay. Well, then you hold them to that. Send them an email, explain, okay, this is our buyer criteria. Put that in there. Sleep on it. That's terrible. Trusted advisor. You better be the trusted advisor. And that's all about building that rapport with them all the way through the entire process. They need to think of you as the expert. If they like, well, who's your trusted advisor? Oh, it's my dad. Well, the dad needs to come on showings with us, because if not, you're going to lose out on your home when you find a one. All right. Go back to their motivation, check their needs. If they want to they want to have a separate consultant or trusted person to help them guide, get them there. Don't dismiss their fears, but try to help them come to a grips on. I had a buyer who was down in Florida. We looked at, I don't know how many houses. We've been down there 3 or 4 times, looked at houses. We just looked at all the wrong houses. We went about condo. Last condo we looked at, I went to the back and I'm like, something like right. All the electric panels are like a 5-unit condo we're looking at. And I pushed my finger to the back wall. And I'm like heat up the termites. So I said, I don't know where it's at, but it's definitely here. I was like, look, and I'm poking holes through the hardy board, right through it. It wasn't a hardy board, it was wood siding. And I was like, so they're like, all right, let's go to lunch. So they were like done. Like, we're not moving here, we're not this, that, and the other. So I had to calm them down, regroup them. We went and sat down, had a beer, looked at some properties, found one. They fell in love with it. We wrote on it that weekend. So they were ready to go home and give up. And I kept them to it, calmed them down, brought back their value, what they were looking for, their motivation, their needs. We found the right property, and they're still there today. And then talking about the cost of waiting. Cost of waiting is, if they're looking at an area, say, look, if you don't know it, then say, let me get back to you later. I want to talk about some things. I'll call you tonight. And go home, research the year-over-year equity growth, year-over-year price increase that the properties go through. So look at 4-bedroom, 3-bath homes, run some sales from last year, run sales year before, run sales year before, and look at the price, get a percentage. Okay, well, year-over-year, they're between 5 and 10% growth in this neighborhood. So if you wait on a $400,000 house and we have 10% growth next year, then we're looking at paying $440,000 for that house, not $400,000. Now, and plus, you're going to stay where you're at. So you're going to pay, if you're renting, then obviously we're going to add in that rental cost, add that to the number, and show them in graphic how much they're spending, how much they're saving, how much it's going to cost them by waiting a year. And if they're like, well, it's going to cost you an extra $68,000, you're going to pay $28,000 in rent at this place that you don't like, it's not big enough for you, and go through all their value, what their needs are. So if you bought a house for $400,000 today, and you did the work, could you put $68,000 in this house and make it your dream home? Well, yeah, I can. Well, then would you rather wait, pay more for it, and give all this money to your landlord? Or would you rather buy the house now, get into it, and over the next year, put $68,000 into the home? Or over the next couple of years, because your house is going to grow by $40,000 next year. So you're going to have $40,000 with equity, plus you're putting $28,000 towards the mortgage and the interest and all that. So you're getting a tax write-off, this, you're going through all this, and just show them that it's better to buy now in any market. There's never been a market that's so tremendously bad, unless like they bought in like 2020, 21, early 22, and they were planning on selling in 2 years or less. If you're keeping the house 3 years or more, it balances out. After 3 years, if you paid $50,000 for a house in 3 years, that house has got value now.
but you're in the house, you're in the house if you want. So buy the house now. And talk to them about if you're doing house hacking and flipping, then it's a whole different animal. But if it's, they're gonna be in the house 3 to 5 years, anything they buy today, even if they paid 10% more for the house, they should have, 15% more for the house should have, in 3 to 5 years, there's equity. And they're gonna be in the house they want, they're gonna build equity, and they're gonna be much better off now than if they wait. Because even though they may not have had to pay $50,000 more because of a bidding war, if they waited a year, that could be $40,000 more just on equity growth year over year. So, because the market didn't drop, like 2024 to 2025, we've dropped a little bit, right? July, August of this year versus July, August last year, the prices have come down just a little bit. But that's a little bit because of equity growth. But people that have bought a house last year are much better off because they got 4%, 5% interest rate versus 6.5% now. So just have those conversations with them. We went through the sellers, it's the same thing, price, timeline, conveyances, prices. It'll list it right, or if they list it too high, people will underwrite them. People won't look at it. If they list it too low, then they can give it away. But if they list it a little bit below the market, they can create a frenzy, drive it up with your marketing expertise. They're going to drive more buyers to the home. Buyers are going to write good value, and they're going to write more. So they're going to bring that price back up to where they wanted it to be or beyond based on pricing it right. That's the goal we're trying to shoot for. Time frame is, you want to sell it now or do you want to wait 6 months? Do you want to leave it on the market, let it get stale and have nobody want to buy it? I had a client do that. We had a contract for $470,000. They needed $20,000 worth of repairs. My client said, "Oh, I want to do that. We'll pull it off the market. We'll do the repairs ourselves." I said, "Can't tell you what the market's going to be. This buyer, we might not get another $470,000 buyer for your house." I reduced it to writing and I sent it to them. And they said, "We still want to pull it off the market, do the repairs." Cost them $18,000 to do the $20,000 worth of repairs. We put it back on the market 2 months later. They lost the house they were buying. We had relooks. We found another house. It was a great house. They loved the house. That's fine. That $470,000 offer, we ended up selling it for $390,000. And people go, was on the market before, they pulled it off. Now it's back on again. Even we said we pulled it off to do these repairs. Here's all the warranties. Here's everything. Yeah, you know, and so they're like, "Yeah, you told us." I'm like, "Yeah, I did, because I sent you an email and made you acknowledge it because I told you, let's take the, bird in hand, right?" So, and then conveyances, that's the shit that they're giving with the house, right? So, we talk about that. You always want to constantly be checking in with your clients about how they are, what's their time, is their timeline changed, has their goals changed, do they just want out of it? Have they stopped paying the damn mortgage? I think I stopped paying his mortgage. He didn't tell me. We were on the market. We went under contract. That guy was lying sack of crap. He ended up bailing. So I went and talked to him. He goes, "Yeah." He says, "I missed the last 2 mortgages." I'm like, "Dude, we can't miss a third. Can you scrape enough money to miss a third?" He goes, "If I don't pay the electric bill," I'm like, "Let the lights go out, pay the mortgage. We can't go 90 days behind because we put you in foreclosure." He said, "Okay." Told me he paid the mortgage. We got it under contract. We went into foreclosure. Foreclosure, the bank will automatically assess all the foreclosure attorney's fees on day 1. So if you sell it and it's 90-day plus, they contact the attorney, you're in foreclosure, even though they've not done a damn thing, you're paying $7,000, $8,000, $9,000 to an attorney for doing nothing. So now he had to pay all the interest, he had to pay the attorney fees. And what happened? It goes on the site, the sheriff's site, foreclosure action. Sellers found out about it, came back to us, said, "We like it, but we don't like it that much. It hit us for 20 grand. Like, I had to take it." He walked with $10,000. He could have walked with $50,000 because he didn't make 2 $500 payments. Could have made 1 and we'd have been fine. Kept him off the block. So check the seller's world. If it changes, you might have to drastically change some stuff. We talk about sensitive conversations, talk about all these, right? But strong foundation for sustaining the relationship. The goal is client for life. If you can build that rapport and keep touching them with different things, even if it's just asking them about how their kids are doing. "Oh my God, little Susie's grown so much. She's going to college this year. When you bought the house, she was just going into 3rd grade. oh my God, I bet you're so proud. She's so beautiful. Oh my God. You know, okay, fine. So then now they're like, oh yeah, we're friends. We're friends. So now they're going to refer you. So all that. Equal opportunity, you're selling it to greenback dollar, not to if they're a certain race, they're a certain sexual orientation, ethnicity. I don't care what it is. You're selling it to the greenback dollar. Make sure your clients are very aware of that. And if they can't handle that, then you got to call your broker. I cancel this deal. I've had a client threaten to shoot me, still sold his house. But if somebody says, well, I won't sell to them because they're this, I'm out. I don't give a shit. My integrity, my ethics are far greater than anyone's. Plus, we want to deal with some douchebag, excuse my language, but he's a douchebag who's so biased, whatever their bias is, just get rid of it. Cancel it, call your broker, because you do not want to go down that road and have a buyer say, you didn't sell to me because of this. Because you can't, you don't be even remotely closely attached to any of that. Huh? Cash. Greenback. Dollars. We're selling it for money. That's all, that's the only.
That's a bad term. Greenbacks is fine.
Yeah, just money. Yeah, we're talking about racism, sexism. What is it is it sexism when no, that's like men, women don't like each other. What is it like if they're sexual orientation, ethnics? So like if they say, I'm not selling this to a guy that's blue collar, works at Ford, it's not a protected class, but you got to have those hard conversations like, look, you can't deny somebody because you don't like that they drive a Toyota and you're a General Motors like lunatic. My dad was union president, worked through GM all his life. So I like, my dad was like, you're not buying a Toyota, you drive Chevy. I get good discounts on Chevy and Ford, so it's hard for me to buy a Toyota. But if somebody said, the Toyota pulls my driveway, they don't get to buy the house. You gotta have that conversation. If they say no, then you gotta decide, even if it's not a protected class, you want to work with an idiot like that. I mean, it's just, there's a lot of idiots in the world, so just pass them along. All these, like this, the win-win, Y4C, 2Ts. This is great, but essentially, you're not going to force anybody to do anything. And it's got to be, both sides have to meet in the middle. What I like about this is when you work with the other agent. When you work with another agent, and then, like this one talks about, like listings is part of the 3 steps for money, right? Your leverage, your leads, you gotta have leads in order to have clients. Listings are there because they're like, you get your listings, you gotta keep your team. And then leverage is when you get so many listings, you gotta leverage, hire people, build systems, use AI, all that. So, but your integrity, your professionalism, and frankly, how your fiduciary responsibility, how you treat your clients are your reputation. So if you keep your integrity tight, stay professional, even with other agents. I have agents that have cussed me out, and I just smile and like, look, you calm down, you call me back. I know, female agent probably does 150 deals a year. She's phenomenal. She does East Side. I won't say her name, but if I told your name, you'd be like, oh yeah, I've seen her problems. But she cussed me out one day. Like on the phone, I'm like, I've been shot at, so cussing at me isn't going to hurt my feelings. So you gotta be the better person. Just say, this is like if they're arguing like, we're not paying for this, we're not doing that, we're not doing this, we're not doing that, now F this and F that. That's fine. Say, this is how I can make the deal work. If you've got an alternative that you think my client might accept, let's work that out. But if not, you're screaming and hollering ain't gonna help the deal. Don't, because you will find it. When you were down in Mississippi, right? Mississippi, there's agents down there you hate it. Like, oh my God, not him again. Right? Because they're just complete asses. There was a time when agents thought they had to be bully the other agent to get the deal done. That's not the case. It's win-win, right? It's got to be good for both sides. And if you're the agent that always looks for the solution, never obsesses on the problem, your reputation will lead you. And agents will be like, I had an agent called me up and says, yeah, the other offer was better. But I told the sellers that I've done deals with you before, and you are a very straightforward, good guy. You run a really good business. He says, I thought we would be better off to stick with you than this other agent. I don't know. And I'm like, I really appreciate that. So you want to call the agents. If you call an agent, ask about, hey, how do I get a showing on this? Look at the MLS first. Read the agent notes. Agents put notes in there for a reason so that we don't bother them. If you got a legitimate question answered, it's after 9 o'clock, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Try to stick to those numbers. If you got to go before or after that, have a reason. Don't just call like, hey, yeah, we're seated this afternoon. I'll call you later, let you know what we think. Don't call them in the morning. Be respectful of their time. Keep them within a business day, 9 to 9 at least. And if they answer, like I've had agents that say, hey, look, I shut my phone off at 8. I'm like, okay, so I put it in my notes on their phone contact. They shut their notes off at 8. Talk about this. Documents, get great pictures. Oh my God. You've all seen the photos where somebody took it with like an iPhone 3 and they had their thumb blocking most of the pictures, or they're standing in the mirror when they take a picture of the bathroom, or the toilet seat's up. Hire a professional photographer to take photos. Spend the money. If you want to pass it on to your client, fine. Just say, hey, we use professional photographers. It costs about $250 to shoot a picture of your house. You okay with that? Yes? Okay, so once we're listed, right before we're listed, we're going to have about a week from now, we're going to have a photographer in there. You're going to have to pay him. Like I said, you're good? Yeah. If you want them to pay for it, fine. Let them pay for it. Just say, hey, that, instead of $350 for the $399 for the admin fee, or $50, whichever one you go for, make it $800, make it $700. Say, what is this for? Well, I think professional photographer. You ever look at a property online, the picture is terrible, you'll never see it on your house. But hire a professional residential photographer, take pictures, cost me a lot of money. And that's what this is. I said some houses, if it needs an aerial, needs a walkthrough video, I add that into my listing presentation. Just why I charge. I charge $700 for the admin. I said, I'm an admin, marketing professional that I pay, marketing properties. I said, plus, if you're going to list it, you're going to put out some paid marketing for them. You have to print the flyers, you have to do all this stuff. That costs a lot of money. So this is just a way to offset the cost. You don't pay for any of this until we close your house. We get you the price you want for your house. You don't pay anything for it. I pay it all up front. You don't pay your house, you don't pay. And so you can do so, but definitely do that. And then, obviously set the schedules for your listing. Like make sure that you're timing it right based on what the market sustains. If the market says not to list it on a Wednesday because you got more traction on a Thursday or Friday, or if it says don't do an open house on Super Bowl weekend on a Sunday at noon because it's terrible. Market shouldn't have to tell you that. You should know that. But so set your schedules. Do your things right. It happens a lot. You know what that means? Work harder next time. Sometimes it's just a fluke. Sometimes it's a neighborhood. Sometimes there's a lot of buyers in the neighborhood. Sometimes you're not doing the right marketing. Sometimes maybe you got door knocking in more places. Maybe your conversation with the people you're door knocking, you need to ask them to bring somebody through. But like signs got to be out within 24 hours. So within one day of it going live, you got to get it out there. You can put it out the day before. Keep that 24-hour window. Make sure, and you don't put anything less. Like all your online marketing has to, all the marketing requirements, like the size of the name of the brokerage, your name, have to be equal prominence. You can't put Mark Rankin Realtor and not list the brokerage on any marketing, whether it be flyers or online, social media, any of that stuff. So make sure you're following the guidelines. And if you use command designs to build your materials, it's all there for you. It's already ready to go. All right, there's feedback. I don't. KW Cares. You guys do KW Cares? There's like 3 different programs. I have it automatically set. Every one of my sales automatically get me for $10 for each program. And it's not a lot, but it adds up over time. Usually in the top 3 or 4, donators to KW Cares. Whether it be that you do the agent assistance, I love the agent assistance, like if your house burns down or some maybe like your furnace goes down, you can apply to get help from the brokerage. And we have that. All right, did that. Success with agents. The only thing I can tell with success with agents is even if they're an asshole, share your respect. If you don't have to take crap from them, just say, hey, look, you're cussing, you're upset. Why don't we take a break? You sit down and calm down, think about how you can deal with what I've just presented to you, and then come back with me with some solution, try to keep it still together. And then I'll think about it as well. I've heard what you had to say in between the FUs and all this. I said, let's talk like later tonight. Like I said, good for you. Make it call back. Usually by then they'll be called. But don't let them berate you, and don't join in. F you too, some come on, just keep it professional, because when they go off, they lost their cool. They're not as good as you. They're not as professional as you. They're not representing their client the way they're supposed to. So don't ever let them do that. Now the daily success of like this is the end. I know we don't do that, and I certainly apologize for running 30 minutes over. Actually, did we run an hour? Yeah, I'm so sorry. I talk a lot, and this class used to be 8 hours. It was an all-day. We used to be able to sit down and dig deep in the topics. And there's so much information that you just can't cover in an hour and a half. But if you get anything from any of these programs, if this slide, like 10 conversations a day, 10 contacts added, 10 handwritten notes, that's a lot a day. Maybe make that like a week. 10-5-1, right? That's the engagements. So 1 is a meaningful conversation. 5s are like posts or comments, and 10s are like likes and whatever, stuff like that. Enrichments those are those care calls, the forward calls to your clients. The top 10 are conversations about real estate. The enrichments are building relationship with people, setting appointments, setting agreements, closings. These daily, if you can print that, create a binder, date them out like a calendar, and then try your best. Even if you miss a few here and there, but shoot for the conversations, shoot for the contacts added, because for every 100 contacts, was it seven deals a year for every 100 contacts, 7%, I think is what it is. It might be a little bit less than that now, but it used to be 7% per 100 year over year. That if you have 100 people in your database, you got 7 deals. So 300 people is 21 deals. If you're not getting that, you need to get better with of pouring into your friends, family, your sphere of influence. But the daily success program is really nice. Remember, don't call people you don't know. If you know them in any shape, form, whatever, make that call and make that connection so that they, like I said, if you send a text message to somebody you ain't talked to forever and they say stop, it's because they on face value they don't remember. And you probably reached out with a real estate text, not a personal text. If you'd have reached out personal, say, hey, look, I was thinking about you. I want you to text, say, I miss you. I haven't talked to you forever. We had some good times, go back in the day. Love to catch up. Talk to you soon. Send them a text. Then when you call them, then it's a forward call. And then after the forward call, what do you do? What do you do? What do you do? So it takes 3 or 4 calls to get there. Just don't blindly call people and hope to God that I don't do my call list. They're not going to be that person, because you will find that person, and the monetary punishment is huge. Forgot you. Yeah, they might not have the number, so you want to reach out. If you're going to text them because you want to just make that reconnection, find a floored reason, family, occupation, recreation, dreams, send it to them. Or, like a family, the kid just graduated high school, all on social media. Stalk them. You got a name on your phone, and you're not friends with them on social media, stalk them, shoot them an instant message, get that connection first, then friend them. So what are they going to do? They're going to look, 80% of the people will just accept every friend. Well, if it's been a while, send that birthday salutation and then put your name in it. Don't put Realtor Keller Williams. No, just put your name, say, and then follow it up with that. I hope you have a wonderful day. Miss you. Let's catch up soon.
Yeah, she was at school and it was about that time of year.
Yeah.
You know, so I said that happy birthday text.
Now you're friends again. Keep that up because we all want more friends. So if you come at it honestly and stay away from the real estate world till they know what you do and then ease into it. You can't go into it all the way. Role play. If you have an accountability partner, please do that. It can be 5 minutes a day and just call each other and be like, all right, you ready? Hey, ring, ring. Hey, this is Mark Ring with Keller Williams. Or, hey, I saw you guys were on a vacation. And I think my family, I got a friend of mine, they have a great house in Italy. And they went to Italy. And I talked to her forever. Went to high school with her. I talked to her forever. I said, oh my God. I said, can I call you Mark Ring? Class of 87. I think I had to put a class of 87. Because I didn't know if she remembered me. She goes, yeah, Mark, and I know what year we graduated. And I called her, like, you guys just got back from Italy. Tell me where you went, what you spent. If you can let me, because I want to take my family there. I always want to go to Italy. I love your pictures. She talks for an hour and a half about Italy. Her brother just called me selling his house. So, and so I said, what do you do? She said, I'm in sales. I'm like, no shit, so am I. I said, I'm going to recruit you right now. If you're in sales, you're going to come to me. Let's get you started in real estate. Let's make you some real money. I said, I would love to see you over in real estate. He goes, huh? Oh, she said, oh, no, I'm going to recruit you. I want you to come work for my company. They sell magazines. And I'm like, nope. I said, I don't know what you make. I said, but this is a fun job. You know, let's have lunch. And she said, oh, yeah, let's have lunch. I'd love to catch up. I'm like, bring your husband. I said, do I know him? She goes, no. I'm like, okay, well, bring him anyways. And so we never had lunch, but her brother called me. So I'm selling this house. She goes, yeah, my sister said that I should give you a call about coming out and let me know what my house is worth. So I showed up with the listing docs. So we comped this house, because I had a wide range, right? You got to print a bunch of stuff, it's very expensive. We sat down, this house was nicer inside, it looked pretty unassuming outside. I went inside. And so we haven't signed a listing agreement yet because his wife had to be there, so he signed it, but she hasn't. And I normally like that, both parties ever got that conversation. So you want to say, hey, are you married? Is your wife could be here as well? Because they both need to list, 1 to buy, 2 to sell. But practice the script because you want to come across authentic. And this ain't working. And then, you know, you got in your book, you've got these things. Prepare your contact list is real important. Has everybody uploaded your database into Command? Yeah. Yeah, we used to have Scott and Roy Marketing. Now I think like somebody else does that. I think it's I forget who our tech guy is. No, it's I don't know. But like tag every one of your contacts so that when you pull up the DTD2 and you're like, okay, so now we're, you know, right now we're what 31st, we start SNU. So we're on N&R right now, and that's every week. So, and if you get them done sooner, like you can jump ahead. There's nothing wrong with that. Just print out a bunch of these, check them off as you go. But preparing this, you don't need this, but preparing your conversation list is real important. And then keep get a little spiral bound binder and write the name at the top. Make some notes that you're talking to them, or when you're done, jot them down real quick. Talk about the different, you know, conversations that you have. You know, like 45 minutes is a long time, but if you're like, well, that's not true. So role playing is one. This is actually making calls. So 45 minutes is not a long time, but they try to keep it under a 2-hour window. have the conversations. If you've talked to them before, and they're different levels. If you've talked to them before, they know you're in real estate. You can come out right and say, hey, I don't want to bother you, but there's a work-related call, so give me 2 minutes of your time. Like, okay. I'm like, hey, I'm looking for clients. I've got some time in my schedule. You know anybody looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate? If you ever thought about getting invested, no. You know anybody that is? What about your kids? What about this? What about that? If you know anybody, if you think about it. Do you think of anybody? No, I can't think about it right now. Will you promise to call me if you do, and we keep your ear open? Because what happens normally is if you think about, man, that's a pretty red car. Now all of a sudden you see red cars everywhere, right? So now we've had this conversation about you helping me in real estate. I would love it because you're going to have somebody in the next short period of time come to you, and in some shape or form, they're going to be talking about buy, selling, or invest in real estate. I would love for you to point them my direction. Can I count on you to do that? What are they going to say? No. They're going to say, yeah, absolutely. So you say, all right, thank you so much. Hey, let's try to grab lunch. No, we're busy and everything else, but let's try to get some people together. And what I like to do is group dates. You get a bunch of people, like if it's high school, old work, or neighborhood. A group date. Invite everybody to go to lunch one day and bring a dozen of your friends. You reach out to each one of them and invite them specifically. That way you're not having lunch with 25 people each month. You can have one lunch. Everybody pays themselves, you go to a group, you have a great time. Everybody talks, and you've made that connection with 25 people. So, and then, obviously follow up, you got to enter all that shit into command. And so think about that. Use your command, call your people, love on them. It's really, 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 this business is not, there's no strategy other than, the best program you can do if you're not doing the 7th level open houses is just loving on the people you know. If you don't know a lot of people, figure it out. If your neighborhood has a book club, if you have a poker night, that your neighborhood's posted, get on because I think that a lot of neighborhoods have those, like websites or social media pages where you can get on there and bitch about your HOA or whatnot, and find a way to engage with folks. Because like I had a sign printed up, I went up to Kroger. Oh my God, shoot me now. Instead of Kroger, I had several major neighborhoods, like recent sales flyers, and I wrote on little like folding cards that said, proper landed lakes, Mainville, Mason. And I had a bunch of them. I'm like, what neighborhood are you from? They're like, oh, like, hey. And of course, my information at the bottom, like, take a look at this. Go on here and get your shopping done, but take a look at this. These are all houses sold in your neighborhood the last 3 months. Just give you an idea on pricing. They're like, oh yeah, my neighbor's house sold. I'm like, well, he's in here. Take a look at it. Take a look at his price. And if you want to see the pictures inside, call me. I'll give you the pictures inside. And so yeah, stood there, and like I was there one day. Girl Scout cookies got more traction than I did. And like I'm standing there, I'm like, I ended up going over and buying $20 for the Girl Scout cookies. I have 2 boxes standing. And people, I'm like, please come talk to me. So I stopped eating these cookies. And I'm like, so I opened up the boxes, spread them out. I have 1 box of everything, spread them out. I'm like, come try them. You come right over here and buy them for the girls. And they come over and I'll be like, now that I got you here, eat the cookie. Let me talk to you about what neighborhood. Oh, I don't have your neighborhood. Here's my card. Call me, and I'll let you know what your neighbor's selling. And so it's fun, but I'm not that guy. I like to work what I've got. I don't like to chase down new business. That's probably why growth. If you get aggressive, you're willing to chase the business, you'll grow well. If you're the person that sits at home on the couch and watches daytime TV instead of doing your daily work, then come in here and do it in here. But you can't watch. You can't like God, my God, my parents live with me. My mom watches those. If it's a dog show or a daytime like beat 'em up show, like Jerry Springer kind of stuff. It's like I can't watch. I can't even hear that. So I like a lot of times I'll leave my home office, come here, so that I can work. But if you can't work from home, you get distracted. Laundry's calling your name, or dishes are calling your name, or you're a bored grazer like me. You hit the fridge every 5 minutes looking for something that you don't need and try to eat. Then come to the office and do this first thing. Like you do stuff like hosting the hope of friends and family blind us at your house if you're one of your. If you're a book reader, hold a book club. If you're a jogger, do a run with your friends. You know, invite people, invite neighbors. Hey, like I'm getting a book club together. This is the book we're reading this time. Why don't you join us? You come down. It's real laid back. We're going to talk about the book as we read it. And you know, there's a lot of different ways you can engage people that you don't know without cold calling and door knocking. Open houses are wonderful. If you like, I need to walk more. I can tell you that. I'm lazy. I'm fat. But you door knock 100 houses, you got good exercise. I guarantee you door knock 100 houses, you're getting something out of it. I mean, if you can door knock 100 houses in a day, besides the health value you get from it, shit. I mean, you're going to get at least one buyer, one seller, guaranteed, out of 100 houses. Yeah, something. And don't just door knock. Print half-page sheets of market analysis. Just sold. Just print half-page sheets, sold 2 pieces of paper, print it, and when you get there, it's like, hey, don't want to bother you, but listen to house on the street. Here's the house that's sold in the neighborhood. You know anybody live by yourself? Here's my card. Love you. Come stay. Whatever. And go on to the next. Try to make it a marathon. How many houses can you hit? Short and sweet. Don't let them engage. Here's this. Here's it. Love to see you there. If not, send friends and family. Here's a card, and then hit the next one. Hit the next one. Hit the next one. If somebody, and always throw in that: are you looking to buy, sell, or invest? Because if you're looking to sell your house, you're looking to buy, upgrade, downgrade. You want to move to a new neighborhood. I can help you find the perfect agent anywhere in the world. Because you tell me the criteria you're looking at an agent, I can put it in my system, and I can give you an agent that meets those criteria at a high level. It's better than relying on your neighbor who knew a guy who might still be in the business or not, but works, 4 towns over and doesn't know. So I can get you a very owned-in specific agent fitting all your criteria. And what was it for me? No, you don't have to pay me nothing. I'll do it for you because I want to make sure you get the right house because I love real estate. Well, you're hitting that age up for 25, 30%, but they don't need to know that because it's not their money, it's his money. So do that. Apologize. I'm so sorry to keep you guys so long. If any of you need anything, come take one of my cards. Call me. I will answer the phone anytime, day or night. Help you with anything you need help with. If it's something safety-wise, reach out to me. If it's something that you just have a question, can't find a comp. There are a lot of private properties out there just not able to be comped out. So if you need anything, definitely let me know. There's not much in this industry that I haven't really seen. And again, don't tell anybody that I kept you guys an hour longer. Just say that, oh, you stayed right on time, was great, give you a 5-star review with all the AGL. Don't say that I blabbed on and on and on. Is the ceiling wet? The ceiling's not wet, though, is it?
And they don't, they've outgrown that too, it's too small. They have a really tough design for both. Yeah, so good luck. If you're doing those open houses on a high level, I will keep them in mind. I handle the houses.
So you got a house hack, like owner occupy it?
Yes.
That's great.
Here's.
Yep. Shoot me a text. I've got a credit building program. And I can forward it to you, and that way you can put it in that. It's just credit counseling, it's free. And if you want them to do all the work for you, it's like $7 or $8 a month. But what I tell people is like, sign up for paper. Have them mail out all the letters, all your creditors, find all your drawing remarks, and then do that in the first month. And go to the paper. You pay $7 or $9 for them to send out all the letters properly written and postage and all that on your behalf. And for like just 1 month's worth of service, and then you just cancel the paid version, go to the self-help version. And what I usually do is I usually just say, $7 a month, looks like 3 or 4 months, and let them respond to the responses on those letters as well. And a lot of times you get, they'll send out the right articulable objection handler letters, and a lot of times people are like, we don't have it. Plus, there's also a program where, like, if he has a cell phone where he pays rent, or he has a non-conforming, non-first generation mortgage, or like lender loans that are not reported to the credit bureau. Have you paid it? You got a cell phone? Pay his bill regularly? Yeah, so to turn it off,
He
right?
pays it regularly, but late, so.
So, and can't pay it late. What about like Duke, water bills, you pay that, you pay rent? You pay rent to you? Yes. You say you pay rent, you can write a letter if you have sent it to, you can send it to the credit bureau about it, you can rent from you for this one, these families, they pay rent, $100 a month. Whatever, $1,000 a month, and you could write a letter, you can use it, it's rented for 2, 3, 4 years. They don't miss the payment. They will get them. Who's paid on that? Yeah, you know. Well, your first house needs to be around, right? My house is structurally sound, mechanically sound, your pipes, electric, mechanical starters, water here, that's a simple thing. I don't know what's going to be. First, you bought $6,000. But, it's structurally sound, got a roof on it, but it's a good shape. Everything else is done. You move it, it's been for a couple of years. That's a great way to build personal integrity. Using a little about renovation, money saving. If he wants to paint the place, he doesn't have the money to buy the paint, he wants to save. Pay your bills, save the money, and buy the paint. Like you buy paint at Walmart, how much you can buy the Sherwin-Williams. Walmart's got great paint. It'll teach him a very valuable
life lesson, and he can clean it up, either pull cash out or sell it, buy something else, or buys a floor family, cleans it up, puts his tenants in there, clean up, get it all nice, like get it going, getting a good market income. And then he can move out of it and use that as income. So now he's got collateral, he's got a cash flow, and banks love cash flow. Your first investment property is hard to buy. Buying other occupied about your income, your debt ratio, and your ability to repay. When you're buying an investment property, 25%, four families, 25% down. But you know, I think a three family, 3 and 4 families are 25, 2 families, 1 family is 20. But you know, you can get away with 3.5% with that FHA. And if he goes 08 or if he goes on overload, he can get like no, that's VA. OFA is still like 3.5 FHA or 3% conventional. Both of those, both of those. That's the state agency. You get money from those. You get, it's only 3% now. It used to be 3 or 5%. They only offer 3 now. Now your interest rate's a little higher, but you need money to buy. So that always works. You get 3% from OFA, 3% from the sellers. You can show up buy a house, get 6%. You can show up buy a house like 3 or 4,000. If you still get money back. Both were realized that on 5%. You're going 5 and 3 a day. You get money, walk away, close with $1,000. There's no money down. And usually they pay for your warranty, they pay for your inspection, they pay for your appraisal, all out like, you still got 1,000. Well, it's all, when you got so much money to the seller of and you have more money you need to buy. But now because they figured it out. And there's always a claim money.
So this is a single family. The sellers want 35.
On the roof, I think a good roof, it's dry. Might be an old roof, there's a gut roof. Maybe.
Yeah.
You want to kick the tires a little bit, right?
Yeah, I mean, you want to sell, but.
Well, 203K, you have to bring in contractors and you want insurance bonded. You can get a 203P, gives you like 5,000. Will help fix major stuff. They live in insurance bond. They think that there's coming. Your roommate, I'll pay you rent. Get $500, $600 a month. You know, you got a 2 or 3, 4 bedroom house, single family house. Get 3 bedroom, get 2 roommates, charging $500 a month each, $400 a month each. They got $800 a month profit coming in. Because you, what, about $35,000, I know you can get a loan of $35,000. I know it's a different process. But you could probably do a 203B, try to push that a little bit. Maybe you do some seller pays, run it up to 40, run it to 45, as long as it'll price out. Run up to 45, and seller give you 6% seller pays. Percent, if you open 3%, you get cash back, so it's 6% blank. 6% like anything, everything wants to spend, if it needs to. And the lender won't give them the 50 is kind of like a that might be a lower amount, but we got to talk to the lender about that. But yeah, you can put this up and throw your commission in on it, right? Even if you did something like charging 5% commission on both sides, take it a little bit back, or keep it all for yourself that time. Because $35,000, 5% commission, that's $2,000. It's, you know, thank God it's, you got to drive all over town with you, just write a contract and walking through the process. But $2,000 is worth that. Like I've done paperwork for a friend. I've never been to a house where I'm like, Johnson wants to buy it, he's a tenant. Someone called me and said, hey, can you do paperwork like $1,000? That's all it was.
Both sides do both.
I use Jennifer Sheep for my own floods. Jennifer does it. I think Craig does OFA. Craig's in our office. Craig's good dude. He's good love. There's the other one in our office is Darren Sand. He's good dude. You know, I use Jennifer for most of those, but, you know, call me if you have a letter that you like, call
Not yet,
them.
I haven't built my.
Yeah,
thing.
shoot me a text and I will, I'll send you a couple that I really like and, see what, yeah, that way you try them out, you know, because they're.
But I
they-
do want to, compare.
The credit repair?
Credit.
Yeah, shoot me a text, I'll send you a link for it. And all you gotta do is click the link, fill out, log in. And, yeah, and like I always say, it's better to just do the pay program, that they will pull your credit, we will take all the letters, everything for you, it's like $75.
Yeah, you pay for that too.
It costs you that much for envelopes and stamps.
Yeah.
All right, yeah, shoot me a text, I'll send you info.
Yeah, thank you.
How do you log out of this thing?